The top 1% do not win because they are smarter. They win because they train their mind every single day. They protect their focus like it's their most valuable asset. Most people are busy, distracted, tired, and they think that's normal. It's not. In this video, you will learn how high performers think, act, and reset their mind when everything pulls them off track. These ideas are simple, but they are uncomfortable, and that's why they work. If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe.
You wake up every day ready to hustle. You're grinding, putting in the hours, chasing your goals. But here's the big question. How do you know you're focusing on the right thing? Are you making real progress or just staying busy? You might be climbing the ladder of success as fast as you can. As Stephen Covey warned, if the ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step we take just gets us to the wrong place faster. Today, let's ensure your ladder is on the right wall. This topic actually comes from one of you, Maricel Padelaga. A member of our community asked, how do you know you're focusing on the right thing? So, Maricel, and everyone else who's wondering this, let's dive in and figure this out together in a practical, motivational, and science-backed way. Busy versus productive. Are you doing what matters? First, let's distinguish between being busy from being productive. It's easy to fill your day with tasks and feel like you're working hard. Emails, meetings, errands, you can do a lot and still accomplish little that truly matters. Management guru Peter Drucker said it best, there is nothing so useless as doing efficiently what should not be done at all. In other words, being efficient on the wrong tasks is a waste. Focus is not about doing more things, it's about doing the right things. Think about it. Have you ever spent a whole day checking off a long to-do list, yet at night you wonder, did any of that really push me forward? Did it even matter? We've all been there. It's possible to be very busy without being effective. If you're climbing and grinding but not seeing results that matter, you might be focusing on the wrong thing. One sign is you feel overwhelmed and burned out, but not accomplished. According to a Harvard study, between 25 and 50% of people report feeling overwhelmed at work. You don't want to be incredibly busy, but incredibly ineffective. So ask yourself honestly, am I busy for the sake of being busy, or am I getting closer to my big goal? Here's a pro tip for you. Before you put something on your calendar or your to-do list, pause and ask yourself, if I do this task all day, will I be closer to my goal at the end of the day? If not, it might not be the right thing to focus on. The power of focus, what the successful do. Let's talk about why focusing on the right thing is so crucial and how successful people attribute their success to focus. I spent years studying and interviewing top entrepreneurs and leaders for my top 10 rules of success series. One thread I found, focus keeps coming up over and over as a key to success. In fact, there's a famous story where Bill Gates and Warren Buffett were at dinner and each asked to write down one word that led to their success. Both of them wrote focus. No discussion, no coordination. Two of the richest, most successful people on the planet independently gave the same answer. That's how important focus is. And they're not alone. Steve Jobs, the visionary co-founder of Apple, famously said, people think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas there are. Jobs was as proud of the things Apple didn't do as the things they did. Why? Because he knew that innovation and success meant picking the right thing and saying no to distractions. When everything is a priority, nothing is. The right focus often means courageously eliminating even good options that aren't the best for you. Warren Buffett has a great approach to this as well. He once advised his personal pilot, Mike Flint, to list his top 25 career goals. Then Buffett told him to circle the top 5 and avoid the other 20 at all costs. Those 20 good but not great goals are the shiny objects that tempt us and diffuse our focus. Buffett's message was this: focus on your top 5 and ignore the rest until you succeed with those. It's about intentionally choosing what not to focus on so you free up energy for what truly matters. Here's another powerful example. Bruce Lee once said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Mastery comes from depth, not breadth. Whether you're learning a skill or building a business, focusing on one thing and doing it with intensity will beat scattering yourself across 10,000 different things. So the takeaway here is that the highest achievers credit focus as a major factor in their success. They pick the right thing, the project, the skill, the goal that will have the biggest impact, and then channel their efforts into it relentlessly. Now, how do you find your right thing? Let's talk about it. Find your why. Identify the right thing for you. Knowing you need to focus is one thing, but knowing what to focus on, that's the real crux of Maricel's question. How do you identify the right thing for you and your business or life? This is where you need to zoom out and look at the big picture of your purpose and goals. One approach that I swear by is outlined in my book, Built to Serve. In that book, I talk about the framework of who, why, and how to discover your purpose. So the who is identify who you are at your core, your single most important core value. This gives you a guidance star. The why is to understand why you do what you do. And here's a hint. Your purpose comes from your pain. Think about the most painful challenge you've overcome in life. Often your mission, which is your why, is to help others overcome that same kind of pain. If you struggled with something and you found the solution, you'll likely feel passionate about sharing that solution or easing that pain for others. As Built to Serve explains, transforming your personal pain into a mission to help others gives you a purpose-driven focus. And then it's the how. Figure out how you will serve, the actions or business that allow you to live that purpose. So in my book, Built to Serve, I explain how finding your who, your core value, your why, your purpose from pain, and how, your vehicle to serve, gives you clarity on where to focus. When you align your work with your purpose, you know you're on the right path. If what you're working on connects to your deepest values and helps people, including yourself, in an area that truly matters to you, chances are you're focusing on the right thing. You'll feel it, a sense of meaning, even if it's hard work. As an entrepreneur or creator, the right thing to focus on is usually the thing that adds the most value to others and fulfills you. It's the intersection of what you're good at, what you love, and what makes an impact. So a quick exercise. Ask yourself, why is this goal important to me? 5 times. Keep drilling down. If you're building a business, why is it important? To make money. Why is making money important? To provide for my family and achieve freedom. Okay, why is freedom important? Because I want to create, I want to help others without constraints. Aha, so maybe helping others or creating is at the core. This method, similar to Toyota's 5 whys technique, can reveal if the thing you're doing is connected to a strong why. If after a few whys you land on a reason that deeply resonates, you've likely found a worthy focus. If you struggle to find a good why, that might be a red flag that the thing isn't truly aligned with what matters to you. Also, think about your core values. One strategy I've shared in the past is to distill your values down to one core word. For me, that word is belief. It reminds me to focus on projects that inspire belief in myself and others. For you, maybe that word is service or creativity or freedom or something else. Use your one word as a filter. The right thing for you to focus on will align with the core value. If your word is service and you're spending most of your time on something that doesn't help anyone, you might be off track. If your word is innovation and you realize you haven't created anything new in months because you're bogged down in admin work, that's a sign to refocus. In short, to identify the right thing, get clear on who you are and what you want in the big picture. Set a clear direction. As the saying goes, begin with the end in mind. Once you have that, the next step is making sure your goals and priorities line up with that vision. Set clear goals and priorities. Having a clear goal is like having a target for your focus. Clarity is power. When you know exactly what you want, it's much easier to see which actions will get you there and which won't. According to decades of research by psychologists Edwin Locke and Gary Latham, setting specific goals can increase performance and productivity by 11 to 25%. That's a huge boost just from being clear about your target. Why? Because goals give you direction and help you prioritize. As one summary of their study put it, goals tell us exactly where we want to go. When we know where we're trying to go, we get there much more quickly. So step 1 is decide on a clear goal. What's the one thing that if you achieved it would make the biggest positive difference in your life or business? It could be a revenue milestone, it could be launching your product, it could be mastering a certain skill, or even a personal goal like writing a book. Whatever it is, write it down. Make it specific, make it meaningful. This goal is now your North Star, the right thing that you want to be aiming at. Next, we want to prioritize ruthlessly. Not everything on your plate contributes equally to your goal. This is where the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, comes in handy. The 80-20 rule states that 80% of the outcomes come from 20% of the causes. In practical terms, roughly 20% of your activities produce 80% of your results. So your job is to figure out what that 20% is for you, those vital few tasks that drive your goal forward, and focus on those while minimizing the rest. For example, if you're an entrepreneur, maybe 2 out of your 10 projects bring in the most of your revenue. Focus on those. If you're trying to get healthy, a few key habits like exercising daily, eating whole foods, will give most of the benefits rather than obsessing over 20 different supplements and hacks. So how do you prioritize the right thing? Number 1, brainstorm your tasks and projects. List out all the major things you spend time on or you're planning on. Include ongoing tasks and new ideas that are swirling around in your head. Number 2, link each task to your main goal or your purpose. So for each item, ask, does this significantly help me achieve my main goal or fulfill my key purpose? Be brutally honest. If the connection is weak, mark that task as lower priority. And number 3, apply the 80-20 rule. Identify which tasks create the most of your desired outcomes. Which tasks, when done well, drive the needle the furthest. Circle these. These are likely your right things. And then number 4, rank your priorities. Try Warren Buffett's approach. Pick your top 5 priorities that truly matter. Then commit to focus on those and avoid the others, no matter how tempting they are, until your top priorities are secure. It might hurt to put aside a cool project idea or say no to a decent opportunity, but remember Steve Jobs and say no to 100 other good ideas. Focus requires sacrifice. Number 5, schedule the important task. Take your number 1 priority task and block time for it first thing in the morning or as early as possible. This is sometimes called eating the frog, a concept from Brian Tracy, meaning you tackle your most important and usually toughest task first thing when you have the most energy. If you schedule the most important thing first, you ensure that it gets done before distractions and lower value tasks start to creep in. By setting clear goals and ordering your priorities, you create a roadmap for what the right thing is. It gives you a filter to decide when new tasks come up, whether they deserve your focus or not. Learn to say no. Guard your focus. Once you know what your right thing is, your priorities and goals, the hardest part can be protecting that focus. Distractions will come. Other people's agendas will try to knock you off course. Unexpected opportunities, some good, some not so good, will appear. Here is where you must channel your inner Steve Jobs or Warren Buffett and exercise the power of no. Remember, every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something important because your time and energy are finite. It's okay to decline meetings that don't serve your goals, to turn down clients who aren't the right fit for you, or to postpone a cool side project if it steals focus from your main thing. This is not easy. It takes confidence and it takes clarity, but it pays off big time. Steve Jobs' quote again is instructive. Focus is about saying no to the 100 other good ideas out there. He understood that Apple couldn't chase every opportunity. They famously cut down their product lines to just a few key products that could really put their dent in the universe with. You can do the same on a personal scale. Figure out what activities, what commitments, what ideas are not contributing to your top 5 priorities and start gently but firmly eliminating or deferring them. Warren Buffett's avoid at all costs list of 20 things is a great visual reminder. Maybe literally make yourself a not to do list. Write down those tempting tasks or habits that you're not going to focus on right now so you don't forget and accidentally slip into them. Post it somewhere that is visible. Also, consider the people around you. Sometimes focusing on the right thing means setting boundaries with other people. If coworkers, friends, or even family are pulling you in a direction that conflicts with your main focus, you need to have some conversations. For example, if you're focusing on building your startup on weekends, you might have to say no to some social events. If you're focusing on writing a book, you might need to decline doing some extra freelance work that would eat up that writing time. It's tough, but true friends and supporters will understand when you explain why you're saying no. Remember your why from earlier. And here's a tip. Try using a positive no. So for example, I'm honored you invited me to speak at that event, but I have to say no this time so I can concentrate on finishing my product launch this month. I want to give it my all. You acknowledge the request and give your reason, which ties back to your important focus. Every yes and no shapes your future, so be intentional. As you practice saying no to distractions or lesser priorities, you'll find an empowering thing happens. You free up massive energy to pour into the things that truly matter. You'll make progress faster and with more peace of mind because you're not constantly torn in a million different directions. Single tasking and deep work. Be present on the right thing. Now that you've identified the right thing and cleared some space for it, let's talk about how you focus when it's time to do the work. It's not just what you focus on, but how you manage your attention that determines your success. So in our modern world, distractions, they're everywhere. You've got your phone notifications, emails, social media. We have a multitasking culture. But study after study shows that multitasking is a myth. Trying to do several things at once usually means you do all of them poorly. And MIT neuroscientist Earl Miller explained that our brains cannot focus on two things simultaneously. What we actually do is just switch rapidly between the tasks, and this task switching has a cognitive cost. You lose time and you make more errors when you juggle tasks, even if it feels like you're doing a lot. In fact, when you multitask, you can lose up to 40% of your productivity. Think about that. You could be almost half as productive trying to do 2 or 3 things at once compared to doing them all at a time. According to an infographic by the University of California, Irvine, it takes on average 23 minutes to refocus on a task after a distraction. Imagine how much focus time you lose if you keep checking your phone or bouncing between projects. So the habit to build is single tasking, or what author Cal Newport calls deep work. This means when you work on your right thing, you give it your full undivided attention for a set period of time. You eliminate distractions proactively. Close your email. Put your phone on do not disturb. Maybe even disconnect from the internet if you can, unless you need it for the task. It can help to have a dedicated space or time where you do that one high-value task. Treat it as sacred, focused time. There's a great Harvard study by psychologists Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert that found something interesting about focus and happiness. They discovered that people's minds wander 47% of the time on average. Nearly half our waking life, we're not fully present in what we're doing. And crucially, the study found that a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. When you're not present, when you're neither here nor there, thinking of other things, you tend to feel less happy. Even if your mind wanders to pleasant thoughts, it doesn't make you happier than if you just engaged in the present task. In short, being fully present in whatever you're doing not only boosts your productivity, it boosts your happiness and fulfillment. So when it's time to work on that right thing, really work on it. If you catch your mind drifting or you get an impulse to check something, gently pull yourself back. It's like training a muscle, and over time, your focus muscle gets stronger. So try this. Set a timer for 30 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever suits you, and commit to focusing on one task for that duration. No breaks, no switching up, and after the time is up, take a 5-minute break. Check whatever you need, then either continue or switch to the next important task for another focus block. This is akin to the Pomodoro technique and can work wonders for you. You'll be amazed how much you can get done in a focused 30-minute burst on the right task versus a distracted 2 hours spread across the right task plus Instagram plus random emails. Also, eliminate multitasking in other ways. So if you're working on a big project, don't also have 15 browser tabs open unrelated to it. Don't try to have a deep strategy time while also monitoring your text messages. It's like trying to drive 2 cars at once. You end up crashing both. Finally, remember to be present, not just physically, but mentally. Sometimes we allocate time for the important thing, but then sabotage ourselves by worrying and overthinking. For example, you set aside time to develop your business strategy, which is the right thing. But the whole time your mind is anxiously thinking about an email you need to send or a minor issue. So to fight this, consider a quick brain dump before your focus session. Jot down any nagging to-dos or thoughts on a notepad to get them off your mind, then promise yourself you'll handle those after your focus block. Clear mind, clear focus. Being present also applies to personal life and rest. If you're resting, really rest. Don't beat yourself up about work during downtime. And if you're with family, then be with them. This trains your brain to focus on one thing at a time, which will help you when you turn to your work focus as well. Action steps. Let's put it all together. We've covered a lot of ground here, from mindset to purpose to practical prioritization to focus techniques. Now let's consolidate this into a simple action plan that you can start today to make sure you're focusing on the right thing. Number 1, define your vision. Write down your main goal or purpose. Clarity is your starting point. What's the big win that you're after? Example, I want to grow my YouTube channels to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, empowering entrepreneurs. Or I want to launch my new app and get 10,000 users. Or I want to improve my health and run a marathon. Make sure it's something that excites you and aligns with your values. Number 2, identify the high impact activities. List all the activities that you do or plan to do related to that goal. Now circle the 20% that truly drive progress, the core value add work. Be honest with yourself here. If you're unsure, look at past data or ask mentors what really moves the needle. Double down on these core activities. Number 3, eliminate or delegate the rest. Look at the remaining 80% of activities. What can you stop doing, delegate to someone else, or do later? Free yourself from the busy work trap. For example, if you're spending hours designing your website, but your key skill is sales calls that bring in clients, consider hiring a part-time web designer. Saying no or delegating the lesser stuff is not a luxury, it's a necessity for greatness. Number 4, schedule your focus time. Take those high impact tasks and block time on your calendar specifically for them. Treat these like important appointments with yourself. If mornings are when you have the most energy, schedule your most important task first. Remember the eat the frog scenario from Brian Tracy? Protect this time from interruptions. Number 5, use focus tools and techniques. During your focus blocks, remove distractions. Close any apps you have open. Put your phone away. Maybe play some concentration music if it helps you. Try techniques like the Pomodoro technique we talked about. 25 minutes focus, 5-minute break. If you struggle with staying on task, the goal is to train your brain to stay on one target at a time. Number 6, review and adjust regularly. Every week or at least once a month, step back and review, am I getting results from what I'm working on? If not, ask why. Maybe you need to adjust your strategy. Focusing on the right thing is also about adaptability. You might find that what you thought was the right thing wasn't, and you need to pivot. That's okay. It's better to realize and adjust than keep grinding in the wrong direction. Use any feedback or data you get. So for example, if you spent a month focusing on a marketing channel and it's not yielding results, maybe the right thing to do is shift to a different marketing channel. Constant course correction is part of the journey. By following these steps, you create a cycle of continuous realignment with your right thing. It's like you're a ship at sea, you have a destination, you've mapped out the best route, and you steer the ship daily, and you course correct when the winds change. This way you know you're focusing on the right thing because you've thought it through and you're paying attention to the outcomes. Trust yourself and believe. At the end of the day, knowing if you're focusing on the right thing comes down to clarity and trust. Clarity in what you want and what matters, and trust in yourself that you've made the best choice you can. Once you've done the work to identify your top priority, commit to it fully. Don't second guess yourself every hour. That only drains your energy. Instead, give it your all. Measure your progress over weeks and months, not minutes. Believe that the course you've set is the right one, and it will reveal itself through results and fulfillment. Remember Maricel's question. She's looking for that confidence that she's not wasting time on the wrong thing. The fact that you're even asking that question means that you're conscientious and self-aware. That is a great sign. It means you care about your direction and you're not willing to live life on autopilot. Use that as motivation to be deliberate with your focus. Most people never even ask if they're on the right thing. They just drift, but not you. You're taking charge of your focus and thus your destiny. In Built to Serve, I wrote that humans are built to serve and make a difference. When you find the path where you can contribute the most and feel the most alive, you found the right thing. Pour your heart into it. Will it be hard? Yes. There will be boring days. There will be doubters. There'll be moments. You'll question yourself even. But when you are on the right thing, you'll also experience moments of flow, of deep satisfaction, of signs that you're making an impact. Cherish those and use them as the fuel to keep going. And if you do realize, hey, I've been climbing the wrong ladder, don't worry. It's never too late to reposition that ladder. Some of the most successful people change focus after years in one area. The key is they recognized it and they took action. You can always refocus when you gain new insight. It's part of growth. To sum it up, focus on what matters most, your purpose, your top goals, the few key actions that create the biggest results. Say no to the rest, or at least not now. Work with intense focus in the moment, one thing at a time. Back your focus with belief in your vision and in yourself. And as you do this, you will start seeing progress. You'll feel more in control, less chaotic. You'll wake up knowing, yes, I am on the right path. And that confidence will give you even more momentum. Success, impact, and fulfillment are all about consistent focus on what truly matters. You've got this. Now go out there, make those tough choices, zero in on your mission, and make it happen. And whenever you feel in doubt, remember why you started and believe. You don't even realize how distracted you are right now. Did you know you likely tap, swipe, or click your phone over 2,600 times per day? Think about that. Thousands of tiny interruptions hijacking your attention. As an entrepreneur, your focus is your superpower, yet it's being drained by constant distractions you don't even notice. In this video, I'm going to show you why you're so distracted without even realizing it, and how to reclaim your focus. No fluff, just practical, science-backed advice to help you get back control of your attention and put it where it belongs, on building your dreams. Welcome to the age of digital distraction. Your smartphone, social media feeds, email notifications, they're all vying for your attention every second. Social media platforms are literally engineered to consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible. Former Facebook president Sean Parker admitted that Facebook was built to hook users, giving a little dopamine hit with each like or comment, exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. Every ping from your phone, every red notification badge is like a slot machine pulling you in. In fact, tech insiders compare the pull to refresh feature on apps to a slot machine. You swipe down and sometimes you get a reward, a new post, a message, other times nothing. And that uncertainty keeps you hooked. Think about how many times you check your phone or toggle to your email when you intend to be working. The average person spends 2.5 hours on their phone daily and touches their device 2,617 times on average. And if you're a heavy user, it's double that, over 5,400 touches a day. You probably underestimate it. One study found 60% of people thought they only checked their phone 100 times, when it was actually 2,600 times plus. All those quick glances and "I'll just check this real quick" moments add up. Each little distraction is costing you more than you realize. According to researchers, after a typical interruption, it takes about 23 minutes to fully refocus on your original task. Imagine that. Every time you get distracted by a notification or a quick social media scroll, you don't just lose 30 seconds on the notification. You potentially lose 23 minutes of productive focus while your brain gets back on track. No wonder the day ends and you feel like you were busy but accomplished far less than you wanted. And it's not just social media. Email can be a huge distraction sink as well. Studies show the average worker spends about 1/3 of their office hours on email. And each time you stop to read an email, you reset that focus clock again. The constant context switching from your project to an email to a text back to your project fragments your attention. It's like trying to carry water in a bucket full of holes. You never make real progress because your focus is leaking every other minute. And here's the kicker. You've probably gotten so used to this state of distraction that it feels normal. It's the new baseline. You check your phone without thinking. You bounce between browser tabs. You keep your Slack and email open while working just in case. But this habit of constant partial attention is stealing your effectiveness. As an entrepreneur, this is an epidemic you must cure. Your goals depend on sustained quality focus, and we're going to fix this by first understanding the enemies of focus that surround you daily. Do you pride yourself on multitasking? You might say, I have to multitask. I have so much to do. But here's the truth. Multitasking is a myth. Your brain cannot focus on two demanding tasks at the same time. It's just rapidly switching attention, and that switch comes with a heavy cost. Research shows that multitasking can reduce your productivity by up to 40%. Think about that. You could be losing almost half your productive time just trying to juggle tasks instead of doing one thing at a time. And it gets worse. One study found that multitasking, like dealing with emails or text while working, caused a temporary 10-point drop in IQ. That's the same as pulling an all-nighter. Another University of London study found multitasking during cognitive tasks dropped men's IQ by 15 points on average and women's by 5. So if you think you're being clever by doing many things at once, realize that in those moments, you're literally operating with a less intelligent, less efficient brain. Ouch. Beyond the immediate performance hit, multitasking also weakens your mind's ability to concentrate long term. Stanford researchers like the late Clifford Nass found that people who chronically multitask actually train their brains to be more easily distracted. In Nass's words, people who multitask all the time can't filter out irrelevancy. They're chronically distracted. The very habit of jumping between tasks makes it harder for you to filter distractions and focus even when you want to. It's like your brain's attention muscle atrophies because you never let it lift heavy, uninterrupted focus. So if you're trying to write a business proposal while also glancing at text messages and listening to a podcast, understand that you are sabotaging your own performance. You'll do each task slower and worse than if you did them one by one. Multitasking creates an illusion of productivity. You feel busy, you feel like a hero juggling flaming torches, but in reality, you're setting fires. Single tasking is the way to real productivity. As the saying goes, if you can't catch two rabbits, you catch neither. Focus on one thing at a time and you'll accomplish far more and to a higher quality. Every day you are faced with thousands of decisions, big and small. What to prioritize on your to-do list, how to respond to that client email, even trivial choices like what to eat for lunch. In fact, estimates say the average adult makes around 35,000 decisions per day. Yes, 35,000. It's no wonder your brain gets tired. Decision fatigue is real. The more decisions you make in a day, the worse your judgment becomes as you go. Consider this famous example. In a study of Israeli parole board hearings, researchers found that prisoners who appeared early in the day had a 65% chance of getting a favorable decision. But by late in the day, after the judges had made many decisions, that chance dropped to near 0%. After the judges took a lunch break, resting their brains, the favorable rate jumped back to the 65% range. This dramatic morning versus afternoon difference wasn't because the prisoners were any different. It was because the judges' brains were exhausted from decision making and defaulted to the easiest choice, which was usually to deny requests. That's decision fatigue in action. As your mental energy gets depleted, you start opting for the path of least resistance or making careless choices. Now think about your life as an entrepreneur. From the moment you wake up, you're bombarded with choices and decisions. How do you allocate your time? Which project gets attention? How do you solve a client problem? By 4 p.m., if you haven't managed your energy, you might find yourself making subpar decisions or procrastinating on important tasks because your brain is simply done. You might even catch yourself doom scrolling on social media or doing busy work in the afternoon, not because you're lazy, but because your willpower and decision reserves are drained. So what can you do? Minimize trivial decisions. Many high performers deliberately simplify their lives to reduce decision overload. Take Mark Zuckerberg, for example. He is known for wearing basically the same t-shirt and hoodie every day. Why? As he explained, I want to clear my life so that I have to make as few decisions as possible about anything except how to best serve this community. Fewer trivial choices about clothes or meals means saving that mental energy for important business decisions. President Obama did something similar with his suits, and Steve Jobs famously wore his black turtleneck uniform, all to avoid wasting decision power on inconsequential things. So here's an action item for you. Find areas in your daily routine to cut back choices. Maybe it's meal prepping the same healthy breakfast every day so you don't spend brain power each morning deciding what to eat, or setting a simple wardrobe for work, or creating a fixed schedule. Example, design work on Mondays, marketing on Tuesdays, so you're not deciding anew each day what to tackle. Each saved decision is mental energy you can apply to the decisions that really matter for your business. You might be grinding on your startup and think, sleep? I'll sleep when I'm dead. I can get by on 5 hours. But lack of sleep is killing your focus and productivity more than you know. Sleeping less to work more is a false economy. Science is crystal clear on this. When you skimp on sleep, your cognitive performance plummets. In one study, people who slept only 6 hours per night for about 2 weeks had the same level of impairment on attention and reaction tasks as someone who pulled an all-nighter. In other words, 10 days of 6-hour sleep is equal to 24 hours of no sleep in terms of how poorly your brain performs. How effective do you think you'll be growing your business if you're basically functioning like you're drunk on exhaustion? Here's a startling comparison. Staying awake for 24 hours straight or getting a terrible night's sleep produces cognitive impairment equivalent to having a blood alcohol level of 0.1%, above the legal DUI limit. Imagine coming to work that cognitively impaired. Yet many entrepreneurs do this to themselves by sleeping 4 to 5 hours and thinking coffee will compensate. It doesn't. You simply cannot cheat nature. Your brain needs sufficient sleep. And for most people, that's 7 to 8 hours to repair, consolidate memory, and reset attention. When you don't get it, you are distracted,
irritable, your memory suffers, and you can't concentrate. Also, willpower is a finite resource that recovers with sleep. If you start the day sleep deprived, you're already at a willpower deficit. Distractions will overpower you much more easily. Ever notice how when you're exhausted, you can barely resist browsing YouTube or Instagram? That's because your brain's self-control fuel tank is low. And I get it. Sometimes you feel you need to push late into the night to get things done. There might be crunch times, but don't make it a lifestyle. Chronic sleep deprivation is burning the candle at both ends. Not only does it wreck your focus in the short term, but long term it's linked to health issues and you can't hustle if you're sick. One study even showed people who average less than 6 hours sleep have a 13% higher risk of death than those around 7 to 8 hours. Literally, lack of sleep can shorten your life. And from a pure business perspective, a Rand Corporation report found that sleep deprivation costs the US economy up to $411 billion in lost productivity a year. So treat sleep as sacred. It's part of your work, a high performer's tool, not a waste of time. Prioritize it. Set a bedtime alarm if you need to. Create a pre-sleep routine to unwind and keep your phone away from the bedroom. Doom scrolling at 1 a.m. steals both your sleep and peace of mind. When you wake up refreshed, your ability to focus on knockout high-quality work will feel almost effortless in comparison. A sharp, rested mind is a competitive advantage in a world where everyone is tired and frazzled. Ever have days where you're so stressed that you can't think straight? Your brain is bouncing between a million worries and you can't focus on the task at hand? That's because stress and anxiety are major distractions that come from within. When your mind is under stress, it's like a computer running too many processes. Everything slows down. Science shows that stress impairs cognition, attention, and memory. When you're stressed about cash flow, or that argument you had, or a looming deadline, your brain's prefrontal cortex, the part you use to focus and solve problems, doesn't function optimally. Instead, your brain's alarm center, the amygdala, takes over, putting you in fight or flight mode. Hard to do deep work when your brain is sounding internal alarm bells. Chronic stress is even worse. Over time, high cortisol levels, the stress hormone, actually change your brain. Research has found that chronic stress can shrink the hippocampus, which is critical for memory, and weaken the connections in the prefrontal cortex. In simple terms, long-term stress can physically erode your ability to learn and concentrate. It also fuels anxiety, which is like a constant background distraction. A worried mind is not a focused mind. Entrepreneurship by nature comes with stress, uncertainty, responsibility, the pressure to survive and thrive. You can't eliminate all stress, but you must learn to manage it or it will sabotage your focus and decision making. Notice how when you're calm and positive, you can get into a flow state more easily, and when you're stressed, you procrastinate or jump between irrelevant tasks. That's the stress effect. 1 minute you're working on your business plan, then you get an upsetting email, your mood nosedives, and suddenly you find yourself mindlessly scrolling news sites or Twitter. That's your brain seeking distraction relief from stress. To combat this, build stress management and mental recharge into your routine. This isn't touchy-feely stuff. It's productivity 101. Even simple practices like exercise. Physical activity is a proven focus booster and stress reducer. A quick 20-minute walk or workout can clear cortisol and release endorphins, putting your brain in a calmer, more focused state. Mindfulness or meditation. Training yourself to notice when your mind wanders and gently bringing it back is literally practice in focus. Even 10 minutes of meditation a day can strengthen your attention muscle and lower stress. Breaks and downtime. Working 12 hours straight while stressed out is a recipe for burnout. Instead, work in focused sprints, say 90 minutes. Then take a short break to relax, step outside, breathe deeply, stretch. These mini resets prevent stress from building up and crashing your system midday. Disconnect. Make sure you have moments each day when you're not ingesting information. No emails, no news, no social media. Constant information overload keeps you in a stressed state. Give your brain some quiet time, especially before bed. Remember, a clear mind is a focused mind. Reducing stress isn't just about feeling better, it directly translates to getting more done with better quality. Protect your mental state as fiercely as you protect your time. They are intimately connected. Take a look around your work environment. Your desk, your office, your browser setup on your computer. Is it designed for focus or distraction?
Often we underestimate how much our surroundings influence our ability to concentrate. If you've got piles of clutter on your desk, 20 tabs open on your screen, your phone buzzing next to you, and people interrupting you, staying focused is like swimming upstream against a strong current. Environmental distractions can be physical and digital. Physically, a noisy or cluttered workspace constantly pulls at your attention. There's an interesting insight from neuroscience. Visual clutter competes with your brain's ability to focus. Your mind has to work harder to filter out irrelevant stimuli in a cluttered room, which tires out your cognitive resources over time. Ever notice how working in a clean, minimalistic space or an empty conference room suddenly makes you feel more clear-headed? It's not your imagination. With less stuff in your visual field, your brain finds it easier to lock in on the single thing you need to do. A study at Princeton University found that when multiple objects are in your view, your brain's attention centers are overwhelmed trying to process it all, even if you think you're ignoring it. The more objects or background noise, the more your brain has to filter, and that filtering uses up mental energy. Clutter equals distractions for your neurons. As Professor Sabina Kastner says, an uncluttered, tidy workspace can lead to less distraction and better information processing. So yes, cleaning your desk or organizing your workspace isn't just procrastination. It can materially improve your focus. Then there's your digital environment. If your phone is on your desk, lighting up with notifications, good luck not glancing at it. Each glance is a break in focus. If your computer has notifications popping up, or if you have tempting apps one click away, those are environmental triggers too. Even having too many tabs or applications open can create a sense of mental clutter. It's like a bunch of open loops in your brain, each tab whispering, "Check me." Here are some environmental tweaks to help you focus better immediately. Create a distraction-free zone. When it's focus time, clear your desk except for what you need. Close those countless browser tabs, put your phone in another room, or at least out of sight and on silent. Studies show that even the presence of a smartphone can impair your ability to concentrate on a task because part of your brain is still monitoring it. Use noise control. If you work in a noisy environment or open office, consider noise-canceling headphones or earplugs, or play background white noise or ambient music to mask distractions. If you work from home, gently communicate focus time to family or roommates to minimize interruptions. Optimize your digital workspace. Turn off non-essential notifications on your devices. Seriously, you don't need email dinging for every incoming message. You can check email on your schedule. Use full screen mode for writing or tasks that benefit from it, so other apps aren't in view. There are also distraction blocker apps that temporarily disable social media or distracting sites while you work. Use them if you need to. Keep it tidy. Take a few minutes at the end of each day or start of each morning to organize your workspace. Put away papers you don't need. Close apps you aren't using. A fresh, clean workspace is like a clean canvas for your mind each day. Design your environment for the deep work you want to do. Make focus the default. Remove the constant temptations and visual noise. When distractions aren't constantly in your peripheral vision or one click away, it is astounding how much more your mind can accomplish. Let's talk about brain chemistry for a second. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter often nicknamed the reward chemical. It's what gives you that little feeling of pleasure or excitement when you get a new like or see a notification or even eat a piece of chocolate. Importantly, dopamine is also about anticipation, the urge, the wanting, the craving for a reward. Modern technology has become a dopamine slot machine, and our brains are the gamblers. Every time you hear a ding or see a notification banner, your brain gets a little jolt of, "Ooh, what is it?" That's dopamine. Tech companies know this and have capitalized on it big time. They've created what's called variable reinforcement schedules, which is a fancy term from psychology meaning that the rewards, the notifications, the messages, interesting content, come at unpredictable intervals. This is exactly how slot machines and casinos hook people. You never know when you'll hit the jackpot, so you keep pulling the lever. With your phone, you never know when you'll get a rewarding notification or see something exciting on your feed, so you keep checking and checking and checking. It's addictive by design. In fact, experts warn that social media and smartphone apps use the same techniques as gambling machines to create psychological cravings. These platforms hijack your brain's reward circuitry. Tristan Harris, a former Google design ethicist, pointed out how the infinite scroll and pull to refresh are modeled after the slot machine lever. As you scroll, occasionally you get a satisfying post or funny meme, which keeps you wanting more. Dr. Mark Griffiths, a professor of behavioral addiction, explains that those unpredictable rewards are key to getting you to habitually check your phone. Consider this. Have you ever felt your phone vibrate in your pocket when it wasn't actually vibrating? Or heard an alert that turned out to be nothing? These are so common that they have a name. Phantom notifications. It's basically your brain tricking you because it's craving that dopamine hit. You've become so conditioned to expect something that your senses get trigger happy. Researchers note that heavy phone users often experience these phantom vibrations or rings, a sign of how deeply this habit is wired in. Why is this a problem for your focus? Because addiction to these small dopamine hits kills your ability to do the hard, often less immediately rewarding work that entrepreneurship requires. Working on a long-term project, coding a new feature on your website, writing a business plan, those don't necessarily spike your dopamine in the short run. In fact, after using social media, which gives quick gratification, doing slow, challenging work can feel boring in comparison, leading you to procrastinate and seek another quick fix on your phone. It's a vicious cycle. The more you feed on easy dopamine from distractions, the more you reduce your tolerance for sustained effort, and the more distraction prone you become. So what's the fix? We're not going to ditch dopamine. You need it for motivation and enjoyment, but you want to retrain your brain to get dopamine from progress, not just novelty. A few ideas. Detox from the hits. Consider periodic dopamine fasting from digital stimuli. Example, take a day on the weekend with no social media, or set specific times of the day where you put your phone on airplane mode and focus. In the beginning, it might feel uncomfortable. That's withdrawal, but over time, your brain will recalibrate. Delay gratification. When you're working, if you get the itch to check your phone or a website, tell yourself, not yet. Finish a focused work interval, say 30 minutes, or finish the section you're writing. Then allow a 5-minute break as the reward. Train your brain that focus earns reward. Reward doesn't interrupt focus. Find joy in deep work. Sounds weird, but you can actually learn to enjoy the feeling of deep concentration. It's a different kind of dopamine, a more satisfying payoff when you complete something big. Celebrate small wins in your work. Did you code for an hour straight without checking anything? That's a win. Fist bump. Mark it on a habit tracker. Give yourself a mental high five. Over time, your brain can start associating progress with pleasure. Curate your feed. Make your digital content work for you. Unfollow accounts that suck you into mindless scrolling. Follow ones that inspire action and positivity. At least when you do take breaks online, you're consuming things that uplift or educate you, not enrage you or make you envy others. Those emotions can drive more compulsive use and distract you with negative rumination. The bottom line, recognize that your distractibility isn't a character flaw, it's a biologically engineered outcome. But as an entrepreneur with big goals, you can't afford to be a dopamine puppet on a string. It's time to cut those strings and put you back in charge. Now that we've diagnosed the problems, let's talk about solutions. How do you actually rebuild your ability to focus deeply on what matters? One powerful concept is what Cal Newport calls deep work, the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. Deep work is where you produce your best stuff, where you solve hard problems, where you truly move the needle in your business. It's the opposite of the fragmented, notification-riddled pseudo work that fills most people's days. Think of deep work like a muscle. If you haven't used it in a while, it's weak. At first, doing 15 minutes of concentrated work might feel hard. You'll be itching to click away. But like training in a gym, you add a little more time as you get stronger. Before long, you can do 90 minutes or 2 hours of solid focus, and this is where you enter a state of flow. Psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, try saying that name 3 times fast, coined the term flow to describe that state where you become so absorbed in an activity that time flies and your productivity soars. In flow, you're fully present and engaged, and distractions fade away. That's the goal, to make flow and deep focus a regular part of your work life. How do you get there? By intentionally carving out distraction-free blocks of time and training your brain to stay on one thing. For example, you can use the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes on, 5 off, repeated, as a starting point. During that on time, absolutely no checking anything else, single task only. When the timer rings, take a short break. This trains focus in manageable chunks. Over time, extend those focus periods to longer stretches. Another key is to have a plan for your deep work sessions. Don't just say, I'll work on my business. Be specific. From 9 to 11 a.m., I will focus on writing the marketing copy for my website. I will shut off email, put my phone away, and close everything except my writing app. Treat it like a meeting with your most important client because it kind of is. The client is your dream. Environment plays a role here too. As we discussed, some people have a ritual. Maybe you put on noise-canceling headphones or play a certain background music or go to a particular spot like a quiet library or coffee shop with a calm corner. That signals to your brain it's deep work time. These cues and routines can help snap you into focus faster each time. Let's get inspired for a second. Bill Gates is one of the busiest, most successful entrepreneurs in history. Yet he famously takes think weeks twice a year. He goes off to a cabin, no technology, just a stack of books, and projects to ponder, and spends a week in deep focus and learning. In fact, some of Microsoft's major breakthroughs, like the idea for Internet Explorer, came out of those think weeks. Now, you may not be able to disappear for a week, but it shows the power of uninterrupted thought. Even a few hours of your own mini think week time, say a Saturday morning alone with your big picture business planning, can yield ideas and clarity that a year of scattered days would never produce. Steve Jobs was another huge proponent of focus. He said, people think focus means saying yes to the things you've got to focus on, but that's not what it means. It means saying no to the hundreds of other good ideas. I'm actually as proud of the things we haven't done as the things I have done. For you, that means you might have dozens of opportunities or tasks you could do, but true focus is about choosing what not to do right now so you can give your full attention to what will make the biggest impact. It's the power of prioritization. When you commit to deep work, you are implicitly saying no to being available to every chat message, no to checking Instagram, no to the less important tasks on your list, at least for the duration of that focus block. And that's not easy, but it is incredibly rewarding. Start building your focus muscle daily. Think of it as a non-negotiable appointment with yourself. Maybe from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday, you do deep work on your most important business task. No excuses, phone off. Over weeks, you'll notice something magical. You'll get more done in those 2 hours than you used to in 8 hours of a distraction-filled day. Quality over quantity. And the sense of progress you feel will motivate you to continue the habit. Your competitors might grind 12 hours scattered with distraction. You could work 6 hours with laser focus and blow past them. That's the power of deep work. We've covered a lot of ground on why you're so distracted and the many forces undermining your attention. Now, let's get super practical with a battle plan. Here are concrete steps and hacks, a mix of habits and tactics to help you take back control of your focus and productivity. Number 1. Audit your distractions. You can't fix what you're not aware of. For the next day or two, keep a simple log on a notepad. Every time you catch yourself distracted, checking your phone, switching tasks, scrolling, make a tick or note what it was. Don't judge yourself, just collect data. By the end of the day, you'll be amazed, maybe horrified, at how often your focus strays. The awareness itself is motivating to change. You might identify your biggest culprits, certain apps or times a day that you can then target. Number 2, schedule focus time. Block out specific time on your calendar for your most important work and treat it like an appointment. During that call, eliminate all possible distractions. Mute your phone, close email, log out of social media. Let people know you're unavailable. Use a timer if it helps, like the Pomodoro technique, and stick to it. Start with realistic chunks, even 30 minutes, and gradually increase. The key is that during this time, the only thing you do is the task you planned, nothing else. Number 3, one thing at a time. Embrace single tasking with a vengeance. Pick the most important task of the moment and give it your full attention. If you're writing a proposal, write. Don't also casually browse news. If you catch your mind or hand drifting to something else, gently but firmly pull it back to the one thing. As an exercise, try doing daily activities with full presence. When eating, just eat, no phone. When talking to someone, just talk, no email in the background. This will strengthen your ability to concentrate on one thing. Number 4, use technology to fight technology. Leverage apps and tools that help you focus. For example, use website blockers like Freedom, Stay Focused, Leech Block to shut off access to your known distraction sites during work hours. Use Do Not Disturb modes on phone and computers to silence notifications. There are even apps that gamify focus. Forest app grows a tree while you don't touch your phone, etc. These tools are training wheels. They help create an environment conducive to focus until you build the discipline to do it on your own. Number 5, take care of your brain. This is foundational. Exercise regularly, even if it's just a brisk walk daily. It boosts blood flow to the brain and improves mood and focus. Eat brain-friendly foods. Avoid heavy junk meals that make you stay sluggish. Stay hydrated. And as we hammered in earlier, sleep enough. It's hard to have good attention if your body and brain are running on fumes or junk fuel. Also, watch the caffeine. A cup or two of coffee can enhance focus, but more than that can make you jittery and anxious, paradoxically hurting concentration. Number 6, plan your day, but not too rigidly. Start each day or the night before by identifying your top 2 to 3 priorities. Write them down. Those are your deep work targets. Then schedule when you'll do them. When you have a plan, you're less likely to drift aimlessly, which is when distractions strike. However, don't overplan every minute. Life happens and unexpected stuff will come. If you get derailed, rather than giving up on the day, recenter by looking at your list and choosing to focus on the next important task. Batch the shallow stuff. Not all tasks require deep focus. Things like email, administrative paperwork, minor decisions, cluster those together in a few small windows in your day. For example, decide you'll check your email at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. only, and process it then instead of constantly monitoring it. By batching, you prevent constant interruption. And when you do these shallow tasks, just do that and get them done. Don't let them bleed all day. Number 8, set boundaries with others. Teach the people around you that you won't respond instantly all the time. It's okay to not be immediately available unless it's truly urgent. Communicate your focus schedule to your team or family. Hey, I'm going to be in deep work mode from 9 to 11 each day, so I'll respond after that. Most people will understand and respect it, especially if you deliver good results from that focus time. Protect your maker's schedule. Number 9, clean up your physical and digital space. As we discussed, an organized workspace equals a calmer mind. Take 5 minutes to declutter before you start working. Also, declutter your computer. Close apps you don't need. Maybe even put your phone in another room. Some entrepreneurs swear by having a separate device or desktop profile for focused work that has no messaging apps or distractions on it. Do what works for you, but make your workspace a distraction-free sanctuary. Number 10, practice mindfulness and patience. Building focus is like training for a marathon. Don't expect perfection in a day. Your mind will wander. That's natural. When it does, instead of beating yourself up, just notice it and bring it back to your task or your breath. Over weeks, you'll notice longer stretches of concentration. Meditation can be a powerful practice to enhance this skill. Even a few minutes a day of sitting quietly, focusing on your breath, and returning your attention when it strays will carry over to better focus in your work. It's brain training. Number 11, make it fun and rewarding. Challenge yourself like it's a game. Can you go the next hour without a single peek at your phone? Can you finish writing code for this feature in one focus sprint? Set goals and then reward yourself. For example, if I finish this chapter, I get to watch an episode of my favorite show tonight. This way you associate focus with positive outcomes. Also, acknowledge your progress. Maybe have a habit tracker where you check off the days you met your focus goals. Seeing a streak can be motivating. And number 12 is remember your why. Finally, the biggest motivator to stay focused is to remember why you want to be focused in the first place. You have big ambitions, dreams, people you want to help, financial freedom you want to achieve. Distractions are the enemy standing between you and those goals. When you catch yourself indulging in distractions, remind yourself gently, this isn't what I really want. Visualize the success you're working towards. The more emotionally connected you are to your mission, the easier it is to say no to the trivial distractions. As Tony Robbins likes to say, where focus goes, energy flows. And where your energy flows, results show. So direct your focus towards your dreams, not down a digital rabbit hole. Implement these steps one by one. Even small changes like disabling a few notifications or doing a 30-minute focus block daily can yield quick improvements. Consistency is key. You're reconditioning your brain and lifestyle for high performance, and that pays dividends in every area of your life. Here's the reality. Most people will stay distracted. Most people will continue to live in their notifications, drown in decisions, skimp on sleep, and let their environment and habits fragment their attention. But that's good news for you, because it means by mastering your focus, you gain a massive edge. While others are chasing every shiny object and spinning in circles, you will be moving forward steadily and powerfully towards your goals. Imagine the compounding effect of reclaiming even just 2 hours of quality focus each day. That's 10 hours a week of deep, meaningful progress. Over a year, that's hundreds of hours invested in your dream with full attention. This is how you outproduce and out-innovate competitors, even if they might seem busier. Your secret weapon is that you're actually present and fully engaged with your work while they're half there. You've learned about the traps: social media, addiction, multitasking, decision fatigue, lack of sleep, stress, clutter, but knowledge is nothing without action. So I challenge you. Take ownership of your attention. Start today. Draw a line in the sand and declare that your focus is your most valuable asset, because it is. Protect it. Train it. Just like you wouldn't let someone steal money from your wallet, don't let distractions steal time from your life. Remember, you become what you focus on. If you focus on meaningless stuff, you'll create meaningless results. If you focus on your vision, your goals, the work that matters, you will create something meaningful. It's not easy. You will stumble. You'll have days where distraction wins. But keep at it. Every time you beat a distraction, by saying no or not giving in or quickly refocusing, it's a victory for your future self. In the end, regaining your focus is deeply empowering. You realize you can do those hard things you set out to do, that you can learn faster, work smarter, and still have time to enjoy life without constantly feeling behind. You start to feel the momentum, a flow in your day. Clarity replaces confusion. Progress replaces procrastination. Calm replaces chaos. This is especially important for you as an entrepreneur. Your ideas, your leadership, your execution, they all depend on your ability to give undivided attention to what truly matters. By controlling your focus, you effectively control your destiny. You'll be shocked by how much you can accomplish when you're not constantly distracted. The business you've been dreaming about, the impact you want to make, the income level you've been striving for, they move from someday to real and attainable when you apply focused effort consistently. You have the strategies now. You know the science and the why behind it. No more excuses. It's time to break free from the chains of distraction that have been quietly holding you back. It's time to reclaim your most precious resource, your attention, and direct it like a laser on what will make you successful. Close those extra tabs, turn off that phone, clear that desk, take a deep breath, lock in on your mission, guard your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. And whenever you find your motivation wavering, come back to this. You have a vision that matters. The world needs to see it. Don't let distractions steal that from you. You are stronger than those little temptations. You are the master of your mind. Now get out there and do the work that matters most. With intense focus, with clarity, with perseverance, you'll amaze yourself with what you're truly capable of when fully engaged. I believe in you. It's time to focus and make your dreams happen. Stay strong, eliminate those distractions, and keep pushing forward. Believe.
You look at Elon Musk and wonder, how does he do it? How does he push the boundaries of technology and business every single day? Today, you're going to learn exactly how Elon Musk rewires his mind for daily success, and more importantly, how you can do it too. This will be a practical roadmap you can follow as an entrepreneur to level up your mindset, focus, and resilience. And by the end of this, you'll have clear strategies to apply in your own life, taken straight from how Elon Musk trains his brain for success. Let's dive in. First principles thinking. Break problems down to basics. Do you ever feel stuck because that's how things have always been done? Elon Musk refuses to accept old assumptions. He uses first principles thinking every day to rewire how he approaches problems. First principles thinking means boiling a problem down to its most basic fundamental truths, then reasoning up from there. Musk himself explains it best. Boil things down to their fundamental truth and reason up from there, as opposed to reasoning by analogy. Most people just copy what others do, which is reasoning by analogy. But Elon questions every assumption. For example, early on, people told Musk that battery packs would always be expensive, about $600 per kilowatt hour. Instead of just accepting that, he broke down the problem. What are batteries actually made of?
He listed all the raw materials, cobalt, nickel, aluminum, carbon, polymers, and calculated how much those would cost on the market. The answer was startling. Only about $80 per kilowatt hour in raw materials, a fraction of the assumed cost. By using first principles, Elon saw a way to dramatically reduce battery costs when everyone else said it was impossible. Similarly, when starting SpaceX, he looked at the price of rockets and thought they were outrageously high. So he calculated the cost of raw materials, the metal, the fuel, etc., and realized he could build rockets for a fraction of the industry price. That is first principles thinking in action, challenging assumptions and redefining problems from the ground up. Now, how can you apply this? Start by questioning everything you take for granted in business or life. Write down your assumptions about a problem that you're facing. Then ask, what if I start from scratch? What is this really made of? Why must it be this way? Break the problem into basic parts. This approach lets you see opportunities and solutions that other people miss. It's a mental exercise you can practice daily, almost like training your brain to think like a scientist. As an entrepreneur, when you adopt first principles thinking, you stop saying, this is just how it's always been done, and start saying, how should it be done from scratch? This daily habit of challenging the norm is a huge part of how Elon Musk rewires his mind for innovation and success. Time blocking and ultra focus, mastering your day. Imagine packing 10 plus hours of work into an 8-hour day. Elon Musk more or less does that through insane focus and time management. One of his key techniques is time blocking. So Musk schedules his day in 5-minute increments, meaning every slice of his day is fully planned. He's known for packing his schedule with back-to-back meetings, engineering work, and emails, often even skipping proper lunch breaks. He'll literally eat during meetings to save time. This level of detail makes sure every minute counts. It sounds intense, and it is, but it's how he manages to run multiple companies at once. Why does this matter for you? Because whether you're running a startup or your own solo business, time is your most valuable asset. Elon is essentially saying, treat your time with respect. By using time blocking, you give every task a slot and eliminate wasted downtime. You don't have to schedule 5-minute chunks right away, but try blocking out your day into planned periods. Start with 30-minute or 1-hour blocks for specific tasks, meetings, breaks, etc. When you know exactly what you should be doing at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and so on, you're less likely to drift into distractions. This method helped Musk cram astonishing productivity into each day. And it can do the same for you. In fact, many productivity experts and other successful people, think Jack Dorsey, Bill Gates, etc., also use time blocking to boost their efficiency. Another aspect of Musk's focus is ruthless prioritization. He has a million things that he could be doing, but he constantly zeroes in on the most critical tasks. Elon is known to say no a lot. No to meetings that aren't essential. No to opportunities that don't align with his main goals. He once noted that focusing on a few key priorities is one of the most important things that you can do for your productivity. Think about it. If you say yes to everything, you'll drown in your work. Learning to say no protects your time for what really matters. So try this. Identify your top 2 to 3 priorities for the day and commit to finishing those above all else. Everything else is secondary. By adopting this Musk-like focus through time blocking and saying no to distractions, you'll train your brain to concentrate on what moves the needle for your business. And remember, focus is like a muscle. The more that you deliberately practice intense focus, even in short little bursts, the stronger that it gets. You'll find you can accomplish more in a focused 5-hour stretch than in an unfocused 10-hour day. Elon Musk's daily schedule might sound extreme, but the underlying principle is universal. Respect your time, plan it, and protect it. Do this, and you're rewiring your mind too to be ultra productive. Obsessing over feedback loops and always improving. Elon Musk has an almost obsessive attitude toward feedback. He's constantly asking, how can I make this better? What am I doing wrong? In Musk's own words, I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. This means he actively seeks criticism and new input to improve his ideas, products, and even himself. He once said you should really pay attention to negative feedback and solicit it, particularly from friends, noting that hardly anyone does that and it's incredibly helpful. Think about that mindset. Instead of avoiding criticism, Musk hunts it down because it helps him grow. So in practice, Musk sets up feedback loops in everything.
At SpaceX and Tesla, after a new test or a new car prototype, he and his team pore over what went wrong and what could be better. He also pays close attention to customer feedback. Tesla, for example, often improves features via software updates based on user input. That habit of continuous improvement is deeply ingrained in his daily routine. It's not comfortable to have your ideas challenged, but Elon embraces it as fuel for progress. Now, how can you apply this as an entrepreneur? First, adopt the mindset that feedback is gold, even if it's hard to hear sometimes. Create channels for feedback in your business. Ask your customers for their honest opinions. Invite mentors or peers to critique your strategies. And listen without defensiveness. Musk often says to seek negative feedback more than praise, because that's where your biggest opportunities to improve are. For example, if you launch a product, don't just ask users what they like. Ask what they don't like. Ask what frustrates them. Ask what they would change. This will give you a clear roadmap of what to fix or adjust. You can also set up a personal daily feedback loop each day. Take a few minutes to reflect. What did I do today that went well? What didn't go well? How can I do it better tomorrow? It's a simple habit, but over time it trains your brain to always look for ways to improve rather than just resting on your laurels. Elon's obsession with feedback loops basically means he never stops learning. Every day is a chance to get better. As he put it, really pay attention to negative feedback and solicit it. It's tough because of your ego, but if you start treating feedback and even criticism as welcome data instead of personal attacks, you'll unlock rapid improvement. So ask yourself and others, how can this be better? Make it a daily question. That's how you wire your mind for continuous growth. Continuous learning, self-education every day. If there's one thing that Elon Musk demonstrates, it's that learning never stops. He famously taught himself rocket science by reading textbooks and industry papers. As a kid, he'd read 10 hours a day, blowing through science fiction and nonfiction alike. It's said he read the entire Encyclopedia Britannica by age 9. When asked how he learned to build rockets, he simply said, "I read books." Musk's mind is like a sponge. He's constantly soaking up knowledge to apply to his companies and projects. Reading and self-education is a daily habit for Musk. In a Rolling Stone interview, he revealed that he was raised by books. Books were his teachers. Even now, he is known to devour articles on cutting-edge technology, read scientific research, and pick up new skills on the fly. This habit of daily learning literally rewires his brain, keeping it adaptable and rich with ideas. It's not just about formal education. Elon has degrees, but much of his expertise in aerospace, automotive, etc. came from independent learning. It's about curiosity. He dives into a topic until he understands it from the ground up, often using that first principles mindset we discussed. So what can you learn from this? Make learning a part of your daily routine. It could be reading 20 pages of a good book every morning, listening to informative podcasts during your commute, watching some amazing YouTube videos like the ones on this channel, or taking an online course in the evening. The key is consistency. Science has shown that reading can boost your confidence, decision-making, and even reduce your stress levels. And it's a common habit of successful people. In one study of 1,200 wealthy individuals, every single one of them reported that reading was a regular habit. That can't be a coincidence. Warren Buffett spends 5 to 6 hours a day reading. Bill Gates reads 50 books a year. Elon Musk reads constantly. They're feeding their brains. So carve out time to educate yourself daily. If Elon, with his crazy schedule, can find time to read and learn, you can too. Even 30 minutes a day will compound over time. Read broadly and read things that challenge you. Musk didn't just read about one topic. He read about everything from fantasy novels to rocket engineering manuals. This broad knowledge base allows him to connect dots between different fields, like applying software principles to car manufacturing or physics to business problems. As I often say, your growth as an entrepreneur will be tied to your growth as a person. In my book, Built to Serve, I emphasize that pouring into yourself, which is learning and improving, equips you to serve others with greater value. So make a list of books or resources that can help you get to the next level and chip away at it daily. Over time, you'll notice your thinking expands. You'll get new ideas for your business because you're constantly feeding your mind. Elon Musk's daily self-education is a huge factor in his success. He's proof that leaders are readers and experimenters. So start a habit of daily learning. Your future self, the one enjoying the success that comes from a rewired, knowledgeable mind, will thank you for it. Embracing risk and uncertainty, courage under fire. Elon Musk has an unusually high tolerance for risk and uncertainty. But don't get it wrong. He does feel fear. It's not as though I have the absence of fear. I feel it quite strongly, Elon said. But if something is important enough, you do it in spite of fear. This is a powerful insight into how his mind works. Musk doesn't let fear paralyze him. He acknowledges it and moves forward anyway when the mission matters. In fact, he jokes that if you don't feel fear, there'd have to be something mentally wrong. Fear is normal. The difference is action. He acts in spite of fear. Think about 2008, often called the worst year of his life. Both Tesla and SpaceX were on the brink of bankruptcy at the same time, and Musk had poured all of his money, reportedly the $180 million he made from PayPal, into trying to save them. He was even borrowing money just to pay his rent. Imagine the stress, both companies failing, personal bankruptcy looming, and on top of that, he was going through a divorce. Elon has said he was waking up on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Yet, he kept going. He scraped together a final effort, SpaceX's fourth rocket launch after 3 failures. It had to succeed or SpaceX would die. And it did succeed, just in time to win a NASA contract that saved the company. Tesla also secured funding in the last hours of 2008 to stay afloat. Musk often describes entrepreneurship as eating glass and staring into the abyss of death. In other words, it's painful and terrifying, but if you can stomach it, you can achieve what others won't. So how does Elon handle such massive risk and uncertainty mentally? First, as mentioned, he focuses on the importance of the mission. He's not taking risks just because it's fun. He genuinely believes in what he's doing, like transitioning the world to sustainable energy or making humanity multiplanetary. That purpose gives him strength. Side note, you need to have a mission that you deeply care about that will push you through the toughest times. Musk has said, when something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. He was fully aware that the odds of success were low. He once estimated less than 10% chance for SpaceX in the beginning, but he accepted that. This is another trick. He uses a bit of fatalism. If you just accept the probabilities, that diminishes fear, he said. He made peace with the idea that he might lose it all. By accepting the worst case scenario, he robbed the fear of its bite. It's like he told himself, okay, I might fail completely. So what? The goal is worth trying anyway. If I go down, at least I try to move the world forward. And that attitude is liberating. For you, embracing risk doesn't mean being reckless. It means not letting fear stop you from pursuing something that you believe in. So ask yourself, what's the worst that would happen if I tried and failed? And can I live with that? If yes, then it's probably a risk worth taking. Plan for the downside, but don't obsess over it. Like Musk, come to terms with the possibility of failure. Then focus on execution. Also, stay flexible. Elon faced uncertainty by adapting quickly. If plan A failed, he was ready with plan B, C, or D. As an entrepreneur, things will rarely go 100% as planned. There'll be market shifts, deals will fall through, etc. Prepare your mind to expect the unexpected. Instead of fearing it, embrace it as part of the journey. So, one practical exercise. Deliberately step out of your comfort zone regularly. It could be as simple as calling a tough potential client or launching that project you've delayed because you're not sure if it will work. Make your first YouTube video. Train yourself to be okay with uncertainty by facing it in small doses. Over time, your confidence grows. You realize, like Elon, that most risks aren't fatal. They're learning experiences. And even when they are huge, if the vision is important enough, you'll find the courage to do it anyway. As Musk's story shows, sometimes the biggest risks carry the biggest rewards. His willingness to risk it all in 2008 is why we have SpaceX and Tesla today. The bottom line is this: rewire your mind to view risk as a necessary part of progress, not something to avoid at all costs. Be smart, do your homework, but when your gut and heart says this is worth it, be brave and leap. In entrepreneurship, not taking a risk can be the biggest risk of all. Elon's mindset teaches us to bet on ourselves when it matters and trust that we'll figure things out. Visualization and future-oriented thinking. See it, then do it. Elon Musk is always living in the future. He has a clear vision of possibilities that don't exist yet. Electric cars everywhere, cities on Mars, high-speed tunnels under LA. This future-oriented thinking isn't just daydreaming. It's a mental technique that guides his daily actions. Musk visualizes bold goals and then aggressively works backwards to make them happen. In a sense, he's rewiring his mind to stay focused on what will be rather than being limited by what currently is. Visualization is a very powerful tool, and science backs this up. Research shows that imagining something vividly can activate similar brain regions as actually experiencing it. In other words, our brains can't fully tell the difference between a real experience and a deeply imagined one. High-performing athletes use this trick all the time. They visualize making the perfect shot or winning the race, which primes their mind and body to actually do it. Musk uses vision in a grand way. He envisions a future that most people think is crazy, and by picturing it so clearly, he galvanizes himself and his team to actually achieve it. So how does Elon apply visualization daily? One way is through setting an insanely clear vision for his companies. For example, with SpaceX, the vision isn't just to make rockets, it's to enable multi-planetary life. That compelling picture of humans living on Mars drives everything. When you have such a vision, it's easier to weather the day-to-day problems because you see them as steps towards a larger picture. Musk often encourages thinking far into the future. He once mentioned that he thinks about how to prolong civilization and minimize the probability of a dark age, a lesson he drew from reading Isaac Asimov's Foundation series. That's a huge visualization, literally imagining the future of humanity and then aligning his work to make a positive impact on it. On a personal level, you can practice visualization by regularly imagining your own version of success in vivid detail. For instance, picture where you want your business to be in 5 years. Not just vaguely, I want to be doing well, but specifics. What kind of products? What does a day in your successful future look like? The more detailed, the better. Spend a few minutes each morning visualizing that outcome. It can train your brain to recognize opportunities that lead you there. It also keeps you motivated because you're not just slogging through tasks, you see the dream you're building toward. Musk also uses what we call mental simulations. He imagines how a future scenario might play out, then figures out what steps are needed now in order to get there. It's like reverse engineering the future. For example, he visualized a world with 1 million electric vehicles, and it became clear that batteries needed to be much cheaper and factories much bigger, hence Tesla's focus on gigafactories and battery R&D. By visualizing high-end goals, he identifies present priorities. One more aspect. Visualization can help with mental toughness. When Elon was working 100-hour weeks during the Model 3 launch, he called it production hell, you can bet he kept picturing the payoff. Thousands of satisfied customers driving cars and the company surviving the crunch. Visualizing success can pull you through the pain of the present. It gives you that extra boost of resilience because you see that it's going to be worth it. So try this. Write down a vivid description of your big goal as if it's already achieved. Then, each day, read it or visualize it for a few minutes. Let yourself feel the excitement of that success. Your brain will start aligning your subconscious to make decisions that favor that outcome. It's not magic, it's neuroscience and focus. As the saying goes, where focus goes, energy flows. Elon Musk's relentless future focus means his energy is always flowing toward making that future real. Adopt that habit, and day by day, you'll make your vision less of a fantasy and more of a plan. Building resilience and mental toughness. Bouncing back from failures. If you take big risks and pursue giant visions like Elon Musk, you're going to get knocked down. A lot. The difference with Musk is how he responds to those setbacks. He treats failure as a teacher, not a tombstone. His ability to persevere through brutal challenges is a cornerstone of his success. So let's unpack how he builds and maintains that resilience together. First, Elon has a mindset that embraces failure as a part of the process. SpaceX had 3 rockets blow up before reaching orbit. Each failure could have been the end, but Musk dug into what went wrong, fixed it, and tried again. He famously said, "Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough." That attitude removes the stigma of failure. It doesn't mean he wants to fail, but he recognizes that pushing the envelope will inevitably come with some failures. And that's okay as long as you learn and improve. This growth mindset, seeing effort and setbacks as a path to mastery, is something that you can develop too. Second, Musk has grit, that mix of passion and perseverance. Even when things get extremely hard, he doesn't give up. Remember the quote, "Being an entrepreneur is like eating glass and staring into the abyss of death." It paints a stark picture of how tough it can feel to be an entrepreneur. Musk doesn't shy away from that pain. He expects it. By normalizing the struggle, yep, this is supposed to be hard, he doesn't get discouraged when he hits a wall and it is hard. Instead, he asks, how do we get through this? In 2018, Tesla was in a production hell, trying to mass produce the Model 3. Elon said he was sleeping on the factory floor working around the clock. He later recalled that time as excruciating, but what kept him going was the belief in the mission and not wanting to let his team and customers down. Purpose fuels resilience. This is why finding your why is so important. It gives you strength in the dark moments.
This ties to the concept of your one word too, knowing the one core value or purpose that drives you. My one word is believe, which is why I sign off every video with it. It reminds me why I do what I do, especially when things get tough. Another technique Elon uses is problem reframing. When faced with a setback, he switches into problem-solving mode almost instantly. Instead of lamenting, "Oh no, this is terrible," he'll say, "Okay, what happened? What's the root cause? What are our options to fix it?" This pragmatic approach keeps his emotions in check. It's not that he doesn't feel frustration or disappointment, he is human. But by focusing on the next steps, he prevents getting stuck in a negative loop. For example, after a failed rocket launch, he gathered his engineers and said, paraphrasing, "We have maybe weeks of cash left. What are all the issues that caused the failure? Which ones must be fixed for the next launch? Let's tackle them one by one." That focus on solutions over problems is the key to resilience. So how can you build resilience like this? Here are a few practical tips to help. Number one, expect challenges. Don't wish for an easy road. Expect that you will hit obstacles. When you do, say, here's the next test. Instead of, why me? Musk expects problems. Every rocket explosion or production delay is just an expected puzzle to solve, not a shock. Next, take care of yourself. Resilience isn't just mental, it's physical and emotional too. Musk is known for intense work, but even he has acknowledged the need for some balance. Spending more time with the kids, stepping back when possible. You can't run at 100% all the time without burnout. Build habits that recharge you. Exercise, short breaks, sleep. Yes, sleep. It helps. It's easier to be mentally tough when you're not running on empty. Next, learn from every setback. After any failure or tough event, do a brief post-mortem. Break it down. What did I learn? How will I use this to improve? This turns every punch into progress. It's exactly what Musk's feedback loop habit does. Even failure provides valuable feedback. Crucially, surround yourself with people who support your mission. Musk has a loyal team that shares his big vision. When you have a community or team that believes in what you are doing, you can lift each other up when times are hard. As an entrepreneur, maybe that's co-founders, mentors, or an online community of like-minded builders. Don't go it completely alone. Resilience is tougher in isolation. And lastly, keep perspective. Musk often talks about keeping an eye on the big picture, like saving humanity, no biggie, which can make daily headaches seem smaller by comparison. You can do a version of that. Remember why you started your business, the change that you want to make, the people that you want to help. When you're in the weeds, zoom out to that much bigger perspective. It makes you realize that the pain now is temporary and worthwhile for the impact that you're going to have on the world. Every day that you push forward, you're strengthening that resilience muscle. Elon Musk's mind is tough because it's been forged through many failures and he keeps coming back. You can cultivate that same never give up attitude. In doing so, you'll stand out because most people quit when it gets hard, but not you, not anymore. You'll keep believing in your vision and in yourself. Now that is mental toughness. Challenging assumptions and redefining problems. Thinking different daily. One of Elon Musk's most notable mental habits is his constant challenging of assumptions. Now, we touched on this with first principles, but it goes even further. Musk has a personal rule, an algorithm for engineering and business that starts with question every requirement. Never accept something just because that's the way it is. In fact, he says your requirements are definitely dumb. It does not matter who gave them to you, no matter who it is, everyone's wrong sometimes. Blunt, but true. This mentality forces you to rethink everything from the ground up. It's a daily practice for Elon. In meetings, if someone says, we have to do X because that's industry standard, he'll respond, but why? Is there a physics reason or is it just because everyone else does it? If the answer is unsatisfactory, he's willing to throw out that requirement entirely. For example, in designing the Tesla, traditional car companies assumed certain things had to be a certain way. Dealerships, for one, must challenge that by selling directly to consumers, which was a radical approach in the auto industry. Or consider how he questioned the need for certain parts in a car. He often tells his engineers, the best part is no part. The best process is no process. Meaning, if you can eliminate a part or a step and still have a functioning product, do it. Early Model 3 production had issues because of over-automation. Musk realized they had added too much complexity, so they redefined the problem. Instead of, how do we automate everything? The question became, how do we simplify and then automate? This led to removing some robots and simplifying the design, which ultimately sped up production. So by challenging the assumption that more automation is always better, they found an actual better solution. Challenging assumptions isn't about being contrarian for ego's sake. It's about finding truth and efficiency. Musk famously told his team to make requirements less dumb and delete any part or process that you can. Only after you do that can you optimize what's left. This approach can be applied to your daily life and your business operations as well. Ask yourself and your team. Number one, why are we doing it this way? And keep asking why like a curious kid until you hit a fundamental reason. Next, what if we remove this step or element? You might discover it wasn't as necessary as you assumed. Next, is there a different way to frame the problem? Sometimes how you define a problem limits the solutions. For example, instead of how can I get more customers to buy, you might reframe it to how can I deliver 10 times more value so customers flock to us? The latter question might lead to a completely different set of strategies. Adopting this habit will differentiate you as an entrepreneur. While others get stuck in conventional thinking, you will find creative solutions. It's literally training yourself to think differently. Steve Jobs used that phrase as a slogan. Elon Musk lives it daily. This is also where innovation is born. Every major innovation came from someone questioning the normal way of doing things. For Musk, questioning norms has led to reusable rockets. No one in the space industry did that before at this scale, and radically new business models. Here is a practical tip. Schedule an assumption challenge session once in a while for your business. Take a process or strategy that you use and systematically question every part of it. Involve your team if you have one. Make it a game. Nothing is sacred. Everything must justify its existence. You'll be surprised how many improvements or new ideas can come out of this exercise. It's essentially what Elon does in engineering meetings. He'll put even established ideas on the chopping block to see if they hold up or if there's a better way. By doing this regularly, you cultivate a mind that's flexible and innovative. Instead of defaulting to, this is just how I do things, you default to, is there a better way I haven't seen yet? And that's a powerful shift. It keeps you from becoming complacent or getting stuck in ruts. In entrepreneurship, the ability to pivot and rethink is extremely valuable. So let's tie it now back to you. Every day, try to catch one small assumption and question it. It could be as simple as, do I really need to respond to emails first thing in the morning, or is there a better morning routine that I can use for productivity? Don't go on autopilot. The more you practice mindful questioning, the more your brain will naturally start seeing those hidden solutions and inefficiencies to fix. This is how Elon Musk's mind operates, and it can work for you too. Make your mindset your competitive advantage. So the strategies that we've covered, first principles thinking, extreme focus, constant feedback, relentless learning, courage and risk, vivid visualization, gritty resilience, and bold questioning, they're all mental habits that Elon Musk practices daily. They are the ways that he rewires his brain for success over and over again. The great news is that you can practice and adopt each of these habits too. None of them are genetically exclusive to Elon. They're learned behaviors and ways of thinking. So start small. Pick one or two to implement this week and build from there. Remember, success is not an accident. It's engineered in the mind first. Musk didn't just wake up one day and suddenly have a SpaceX rocket on the launch pad. It started with how he thought about rockets, the questions he asked, the risks he was willing to take, and the persistence to keep going after failures. He trained his mind to handle huge challenges, and that's why he achieves huge goals. You have incredible potential inside you too. Cultivating these mindset hacks is like unlocking different superpowers, creative problem solving, laser focus, continuous growth, unshakable grit. Imagine what you can accomplish when you combine all of them. Every entrepreneur faces obstacles, doubters, and moments where you'll question yourself too. That is normal. What will set you apart is how you respond and what mindset you bring. So use Elon's approaches as inspiration. Make them part of your own daily routine. And whenever you feel discouraged or think a goal is way too far out of reach, I want you to do one thing. Believe. Believe in your ability to improve, to figure things out, and to make an impact. Because as an entrepreneur, you are built to serve. The world needs your contribution. All the tools we discussed will help you become the version of you who can deliver on that purpose. So start rewiring your mind, one day at a time, one habit at a time. Challenge that assumption, block that time, seek that feedback, take that risk, visualize that future, read that book, do it consistently, and watch your life change. Your mind is your most powerful asset. Invest in it, sharpen it, and like Elon Musk, you'll be able to take on moonshot dreams and make them real. It's time to apply these lessons and take action. You've got this, and as always, believe.
If you're an entrepreneur and you're not mentally tough, you will fail. The world will break you if you let it, especially in business. You have to become unbreakable to achieve your dreams. But here's the thing. Unbreakable does not mean unemotional or unkind. You can be tough as a Spartan and still have a heart. In fact, that's the only way it truly works. The Spartan mindset, strength at all costs. Let's talk about Spartans. These were the warriors so tough that their name is literally synonymous with toughness. Picture this, 480 BC, Thermopylae. The Persian army, hundreds of thousands strong, demands that a tiny Greek force surrender. King Leonidas of Sparta refuses. The battle begins, day one. Wave after wave of Persians attack and the Spartans push them back, inflicting heavy losses. Day two, the Persians try again with their elite troops. Still no break. The invaders are unable to break through the Greek defenses. Think about that. The greatest empire of the time couldn't make a dent in 300 Spartans and their Greek allies for 2 whole days. They only won on day 3 by surrounding the Spartans, who fought to the last breath rather than give up. The Spartans became legends of resilience because they refused to break. That's the Spartan mindset. No surrender. No, I can't take this. It's whatever it takes until the job is done or you're dead on the field. Now, as entrepreneurs, we thankfully don't have to face invading armies, but we do face attacks, failures, rejections, market crashes, haters, self-doubt, you name it. And the question is, will you stand firm like a Spartan, or will you surrender at the first arrow life shoots at you? The fear of going cold. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Evan, I get it. I need to be tougher. But I'm afraid if I harden myself like that, won't I lose my compassion? Won't I have to become a jerk or a robot to survive? This is the biggest doubt you might have about building strength. You worry that if you become unbreakable, you'll also become cold, that you'll sacrifice your kindness, your empathy, your humanity. And I hear you. It is a valid concern. Nobody wants to turn into a heartless machine just to succeed and make money. Being unbreakable does not mean being unfeeling. Real strength isn't about shutting off your emotions. It's about learning to control them, to channel them, and not be controlled by them. You don't have to sacrifice empathy to build resilience. Actually, if you do, you're likely to hurt yourself and your business in the long run. Strength without kindness is empty, and kindness without strength is ineffective. You need both. Think of it this way. A Spartan's warrior heart was in protecting his people. The 300 at Thermopylae weren't fighting just for glory. They were fighting out of love for their homeland and their families behind them. Their purpose gave them their strength. Your purpose can give you your strength without making you cold. My story, breaking my neck and breaking my limits. So in 2019, I went on a 90-day, 23-city tour to speak to entrepreneurs just like you. I was on a mission, my mission to spread belief. And about 2 months in, something crazy happened. I blacked out and broke my neck in 2 spots. Yeah, you heard that right. I literally broke my neck in 2 spots. I also compressed my spine. I got a concussion. I needed staples in my head. The doctors put me in a neck brace. They put me in a neck brace so that I could wear this 24/7. I could barely move. Every single step I took hurt. Now, I had every reason to quit the tour. No one would blame me for stopping. I mean, hey, guys, I'm going home. I broke my neck. It's a pretty good excuse to cancel the rest of the dates, right? But I didn't cancel. I finished the last month of my tour wearing this neck brace, injury and all. I sat on stage in city after city, unable to turn my head, looking like Frankenstein's little cousin. And I still delivered my speeches. Why? Because I promised myself and all of you that I would show up, because I had people in each city who had bought tickets, who were counting on me to help them, because I'm built to serve. My purpose to inspire others made me unbreakable, even when my body literally broke. Now, did that ordeal make me cold and cruel? Not at all. In fact, it made me more compassionate. I felt an even deeper gratitude and love for the people I met because I saw how much they believed in me to continue. It reinforced why I do what I do, to help. I learned that true resilience is fueled by love and purpose, not anger and bitterness. So lying in that hospital bed in Denver, I decided I'm going to show what belief can do. If I can still show up for others with a broken neck, what excuse do I have when I'm healthy? And that's the Spartan mindset. Push through the pain for a cause that's greater than the pain. And let me tell you, when you push through like that, you shift your identity. I went from doubting if I could go on to taking action one painful step at a time, to transforming into a guy who knows he can do the things he sets his mind to. That's why I still keep this on my shelf here at home. And that's exactly what I want for you, to experience that shift from doubt into action to transformation in your own life. Strong and kind, the power of compassionate resilience. So, How do you become unbreakable without turning into a stone cold jerk? How do you develop a Spartan's toughness and still keep a warm heart? It's absolutely possible. In fact, I think it's the only sustainable way. And don't just take my word for it. Let's look at some of the science and some real world evidence to back it up. Psychology proves that kindness builds strength. We often think that we have to be hard on ourselves or others to toughen up. It's wrong. Recent research shows that kindness towards ourselves actually builds stronger mental toughness than harsh self-judgment ever could. Being overly critical might feel like you're being strict or disciplined, but it actually undermines your resilience. Now, on the flip side, self-compassion, treating yourself with understanding and patience, creates the mental safety net you need to bounce back faster. A 2021 analysis of 27 studies found that people who practice self-compassion have greater emotional resilience, recover faster from setbacks, and persist more towards their goals than people who are harsh on themselves. Think about that. Being kind to yourself makes you tougher. So being soft with yourself in a healthy way actually makes you harder to break. Great leaders lead with empathy. Empathy is not a weakness, it's a superpower. Microsoft's CEO Satya Nadella famously said that among all leadership qualities, none of it matters without empathy. Early in his career, he was even told during an interview, you need to develop empathy, when he gave a too logical answer to a problem. And he took that to heart. Under Nadella's leadership, Microsoft transformed, not by becoming softer in a bad way, but by infusing a culture of empathy and trust. And the result was a stronger, more innovative company. The lesson is, you can demand excellence and be resilient through crisis while also caring deeply about your team and customers. In fact, that empathy might be the glue that holds everyone together when things get tough. Strong back, soft front. Courage and vulnerability. Researcher Brene Brown uses a phrase borrowed from a Buddhist teacher, which goes like this: strong back, soft front. It means have a strong spine, stand your ground, know your values, that's your strong back, but keep a soft front, stay open, vulnerable, curious, soft front. In other words, be tough-minded, but tender-hearted. This idea is, I think, awesome for entrepreneurs. It's not about wearing your armor 24/7 and trusting no one. It's about having solid confidence and boundaries that you won't break or bend on what really matters, while still being vulnerable enough to listen, to learn, to care. You need that balance. If you go all hard front, hard back, you become brittle, defensive, isolated. That's when you actually do become cold and breakable. But strong back, soft front, you become resilient and adaptable. You can stand firm through all the storms, but you also give and receive support. You can bend without breaking. Now, maybe you're thinking, all right, Evan, I believe it in theory, but how do I actually do this? How do I train myself to be strong and kind at the same time? Great question. Let's get practical. Building your unbreakable but not unfeeling mindset. So to develop a Spartan mindset with a heart, you need to train in two areas: your mental toughness and your compassion. Think of it like when you're forging steel, you're making a sword. It takes tempering, which is heat and pressure, and then quenching, cooling, right, to make the blade strong. So here are 3 practical steps to help you get started. Number 1, embrace discomfort daily. Train like a Spartan trains. The Spartans became unbreakable by training in discomfort constantly. You can do this in modern life. Seek out controlled challenges to toughen your mind. It could be taking cold showers. It could be doing that workout when you don't feel like it. It could be making that sales call you're afraid to make, or waking up an hour earlier than you want to, releasing your first YouTube video. Push your limits a little bit every day. Discomfort is your gym. It's where you build those resilience muscles. When you voluntarily do hard things, you teach yourself, I can handle this. Then when involuntary hard things like crises hit, it's not your first time in the ring. Importantly, when you face these challenges, do it with intention, not anger. So for example, decide that today you'll work on a tough project for 2 hours straight, no interruptions. It will be hard and your brain will whine. But when you complete it, celebrate that win. It wires your brain that hardship is training, not trauma. And as you embrace discomfort, remember why you're doing it: to become stronger for your ultimate mission. That purpose keeps you from growing bitter. You're not doing hard things for the sake of misery. You're doing it to build capacity to serve and succeed. Next, practice compassion. It's a strength, not a softness. This might sound very counterintuitive, but to avoid becoming emotionally cold, you need to actively practice kindness to yourself and others as you pursue your goals. Start with self-compassion. When you fail or hit a wall, watch your self-talk. Instead of berating yourself and yelling at yourself, you're the worst, pause and speak to yourself like you would to your best friend. Literally say something like, This is tough. Anyone would find it hard. I'm not alone in struggling. Let's figure this out. I can grow from this. I will get better. Great things come to me. This isn't being easy on yourself. It's being smart. Remember, beating yourself up only floods you with stress and makes you less resilient, while self-compassion boosts your learning and comeback power. So give yourself that pep talk with understanding, not a drill sergeant scolding. Next, extend compassion to others around you too. As a leader, challenge yourself to perform an act of kindness each day. Even under stress. It could be as simple as thanking an employee or checking in on a colleague who's having a rough time. One thing I do every morning is I record a video that I send to my team, and I'm recognizing at least one person on the team. This keeps your humanity alive and well. It reminds you why you're fighting, not just for numbers, but for people. And guess what? Kindness is contagious and strengthens the bonds in your team and your network. Those strong relationships become part of your resilience. When you know you're all fighting together and care about each other, you can go 10 times harder and endure more because you're not alone and you know it matters. Next, set boundaries and stand for your values. So being kind does not mean being a pushover. Spartans had a code. Lines they would not cross or let others cross. You need your own code of values and boundaries. Decide what you stand for. Integrity, quality, whatever is core. I call it your one word. I wrote a book about it. And be uncompromising on that, no matter what the pressure. Also, set boundaries for how you're treated and how you spend your time. If you're always saying yes to everyone to please people, you will get stretched and snapped. Boundaries keep you strong. They are a form of self-respect and respect for your mission. So, for example, you might set a boundary that you don't tolerate abuse from clients or team members. Everyone must treat each other with respect. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you principled. Or you set a boundary that you're going to carve non-negotiable time for rest or for family. So you stay balanced and you don't burn out, right? Burnout becomes your path to coldness because you have nothing left to give. When you enforce these boundaries, do it calmly, do it firmly. You don't have to get angry. It's possible to say no with a smile. In fact, true Spartan mindset requires saying no to distractions and toxic influences, because by protecting your time, your energy, your values, you actually increase your capacity to be patient and kind where it truly matters. You're creating a focused, values-driven life. And that focus is strong and steady, and it means when you show up for others, you're actually fully there. You can be kind because you've taken care of your strength. Think of it like this. A warrior sharpens his sword, right? That's building toughness, and also keeps it clean and oiled. That's maintaining kindness. You like that one? I like that one. Both are needed for the sword to perform at its best. By following these steps, you're training both sides of the coin, your inner Spartan warrior and your inner compassionate leader. Over time, you'll notice something amazing happens. The more that you push yourself to be strong and the more you nurture your empathy, the less fear you have. You won't be afraid that toughness will make you cruel because you see your kindness growing alongside your grit. And you won't be afraid that being kind makes you weak because you'll see yourself overcoming challenges like a beast, like a Spartan. You'll realize kindness is your edge, it's not your enemy. Transformation from soft to strong and loving it. So imagine yourself a few months from now, a challenge hits, because they always do. And your immediate reaction is not panic. It's not asking why me. It's not running away. Instead, you square up like a Spartan on a battlefield. All right, let's go. I've been training for this. You take a deep breath, you remember your purpose, you recall that there are people you care about depending on you, and you charge forward. And because you've also kept your heart open, you're not just charging forward alone, you have allies. You're not just fighting for yourself, you're leading with clarity and passion. It's an identity shift from seeing yourself as a potential victim of circumstances into a warrior for your dream and a guardian for the people that you serve. Remember, unbreakable doesn't mean never bending. It means you bend and you bounce back every time. The Spartan mindset in the 21st century isn't about shutting down your emotions. It's about being the warrior, the one who fights for love. Love of the craft, love of your family, love of your vision of a better world. So the next time someone tells you, nice guys finish last, or you worry that being empathetic is a liability, think of Leonidas fighting for his people. Think of a mother working 12-hour shifts to feed her kids. Think of a CEO valuing empathy and still crushing goals. Think of me sitting on stage with a broken neck because I cared about my community. Strength and kindness can coexist, and together they're invincible. So now it's your turn. Take a step back and ask, where do I need to toughen up, and where can I be kinder to myself or others as I do it? Identify one action for each and do it today. Maybe you'll finally start that project you've been procrastinating on. That's your toughness training. And you'll also forgive yourself for procrastinating. That's your compassion training. And get back on track. Maybe you'll hold an employee accountable for a mistake, toughness, but do it in a way that coaches them rather than belittles them in front of others, kindness. These little choices, they build your new identity. Do not be afraid of the struggle. Embrace it. And do not be afraid of your empathy. Embrace that too. Combine them, and you become an unstoppable force for good. This is how you become unbreakable without becoming cold, by forging yourself in fire and in love. Social media is stealing your success. It's tricking you into feeling productive because you can get clients there, but it's actively robbing you of focus every single day. And if you keep letting social media steal your attention, you'll never become the successful entrepreneur that you were meant to be. Odysseus knew all about dangerous distractions. On his journey home, he was warned about the Sirens. These were creatures whose enchanting songs lured sailors to their doom. Odysseus still wanted to hear their song, but he refused to lose everything for it. So he plugged his crew's ears with wax and had them tie him tightly to his ship's mast. As they rowed past the Sirens' island, Odysseus begged and screamed for release. The song was that irresistible, but his men were unable to hear him, and they were under strict orders to keep him tied up. His ship sailed to safety because Odysseus removed his ability to give into temptation. He felt the pull of the Siren's call, the same pull that you feel right now every time your phone buzzes with a new notification while you are trying to get work done. I felt that pull in my own life too. When I was starting my business, I had to sacrifice a lot of distractions that my friends were calling fun. I remember allowing myself only one social night out per month, partially because I was broke and I just couldn't afford it, but also because I was laser focused on making my company work. And listen, it was hard. It was hard watching everyone else relax and have fun while I worked. I felt like I was missing out, but I told myself that I do difficult things and I did not want to let the FOMO or fear stop me from taking action. So saying no to almost everything that wasn't building my business became the thing that saved me. Every hour I saved from mindless parties or entertainment was an hour invested into my dream. Now, maybe you're thinking exactly one of our subscribers, Swoggles Ute, asked, how do I avoid getting distracted by social media when that's where I get my clients? And I get it. It feels like you have to be on all the time or you're going to lose business. But ask yourself, are you using social media or is it using you? And if it's truly a tool for clients, then you should be in control of it, not endlessly scrolling, not constantly checking. Just like a bartender can't be drunk on the job, an entrepreneur can't be hooked on the feed and expect to stay effective. So, a flip. Being always online isn't what lands you clients. Delivering value is. In fact, many entrepreneurs realized too late that social media was a vanity trap. It felt like work, but it wasn't moving the needle. Tanya Dalton, a CEO 14 years, discovered none of her best clients had even found her through social media. All that posting and checking was requiring maximum time, energy, and money for minimal dollars. For her, social media was a distraction from true success. So yes, your clients might be on social, but they don't need you glued to it 24/7. They need you at your best. So you're creative, you're focused, you're delivering results, and that means that you need to take back control. So how do you actually do it? How do you beat social media distraction without losing the connections that matter for your business? Let's break it down. Here are 5 strategies to free yourself from social media distractions and up your productivity. Step number 1, recognize the true cost of distraction. You must start by getting honest about how these little quick checks are actually stealing from you. It's more than you think. The average person now spends about 2 hours and 21 minutes per day on social media. That's over 2 hours of your day gone every day. For an entrepreneur, that's huge because time is your most valuable asset. And it's not just the minutes spent scrolling. Every time you get pulled away from work to take a little peek at your feed on that notification, you lose momentum. Research from the University of California, Irvine shows that after even a brief interruption, it takes about 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully regain focus on your original task. 23 minutes! Think about that. A quick 2-minute Instagram check could cost you nearly half an hour of productive work by the time your brain gets back into gear. Do that multiple times a day and hours disappear. These platforms are designed to be addictive. It's not a personal failing that you feel the urge to check. It's by design. Former Facebook president Sean Parker admitted they built social media to exploit your psychology, saying, God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains. Scrolling gives you a quick dopamine hit, a little reward, and that trains you to keep coming back. But those quick hits come at the expense of your long-term goals. So I need you to internalize this. Every time you're distracted by social media, you're paying with something irreplaceable: your time, your energy, and your mental clarity. It's like compound interest in reverse, though. Small distractions snowball into big losses. Once you see the true cost, you'll feel far more urgency to actually change. Number 2, set strict boundaries and stick to them. The next step is to regain control by setting hard rules for when, how, and why you use social media. Think of it like installing guardrails on a winding road. Without them, it's too easy to go off a cliff. So schedule your social media time. Literally block it out on your calendar like an appointment. For example, instead of constantly hopping in and out of apps all day, you decide, I'll handle all of my social media work between 4 and 5 p.m. every day, and that's it. This is called time blocking, and it's a game changer for productivity. Experts recommend creating a dedicated block, like 60 minutes, for emails and social media tasks, rather than letting them interrupt you all day long. So during that block, you focus only on those tasks: responding to client DMs, posting content, checking industry trends, and nothing else. When the time is up, you log off and you get out. Why is this effective? Because you're training your brain that social media time has a defined start and end. It's not a constant background noise anymore. It's a scheduled activity with a purpose. You go in with intention and you leave when you're done. This structure prevents the slippery slope of, I'll just check for a minute, which then turns into 30 minutes before you know it. Also, set physical boundaries if you can. So maybe you decide you only use social media from your laptop or at your desk, not on your phone, not on the couch. By changing the context, you make it easier to stick to your habit. Or on your work computer, you might even have a separate browser profile just for business social media with no algorithmic news feed to tempt you. And outside of that business hour, log out of your accounts. Make it slightly inconvenient to get back on. That friction becomes your friend. Remember, entrepreneurs lead. They don't follow endless rabbit holes. One entrepreneur I mentioned earlier, Tanya Dalton, called out the limiting belief that you have to be on every platform constantly. Once she set boundaries and eventually cut out her social media, her business didn't die, it grew. Think about that. By refocusing her time on more meaningful connections like emails and live events, she stood out in a crowded marketplace. So, your turn. Decide right now when and where you will engage with social media, and hold that line. Hold. Your focus will thank you. Number 3, use social media with purpose. Become a producer, not a consumer. So a big mindset shift here is to treat social media as a tool for your business, not a toy for your boredom. There's a massive difference between using social media intentionally and letting it use you. If social media is where you find clients, then approach it like a business task. That means you go on each platform with a clear objective. So example, I'm going to post an update about our new service, or I'm going to answer comments and then message 3 potential leads, right? You have a to-do list for your social session. If it's not on the to-do list, you don't do it. You're there to create value, not consume randomness. The moment you find yourself drifting into the timeline with no aim, stop. That's like wandering into the forest without a trail. You'll get lost in there for ages. So here's a strategy. Create more than you consume. For every piece of content you consume, like watching someone else's story or post, aim to create one of your own. A post, a reply, a helpful comment, a story. This keeps you in the mindset of an active contributor, not just a passive scroller. It also directly benefits your business, content, and engagement that your clients or prospects see, rather than you silently comparing yourself to others' highlight reels, right? Also, focus on the high-value interactions and ditch the vanity metrics. Followers and likes are nice, but if they aren't translated into business, they become a distraction. So double down on the social media activities that actually generate leads or build relationships. Maybe it's posting valuable content. Maybe it's participating in a niche forum or group where your clients are hanging out. Tanya's wake-up call was realizing that she was chasing follower counts while none of her soulmate clients, as she calls them, came from those followers. She switched to channels that mattered, like her podcast and email, once she saw the data. So in your case, figure out which 20% of your social media actions drive 80% of the results. That's the Pareto principle in action. Do more of those and feel free to cut the rest. You do not need to do everything. You need to do the right things. Finally, Embrace the idea of delayed gratification. Building a business is a long game, and sometimes you have to forgo the instant gratification of a quick scroll for the sake of a bigger reward. The famous Stanford marshmallow experiment showed that children who resisted the temptation of one treat now, waiting to get 2 treats later, tended to have better life outcomes and success as they grew up. The ability to delay gratification is like a superpower for entrepreneurs. Every time you resist opening that app and instead invest that time in your craft, your product, your skills, your clients, you're essentially waiting for the second marshmallow. You're trading a fleeting moment of amusement for a step closer to that dream outcome of yours. That's a trade that winners make. Number 4, eliminate triggers and distractions in your environment. So even with strong boundaries and a clear purpose, willpower alone can fail if you're constantly tempted. So the solution is to proactively remove or reduce the triggers that pull you off track. Make it easier to do the right thing and harder to do the wrong thing. So start with notifications. These are basically digital siren songs. The pings, the buzzes, the little red dots, they're designed to grab your attention immediately. Turn them off, all of them. That's what I do, except the truly critical ones. You don't need a ding every time someone likes a post or every time an acquaintance tweets something out. Those can wait until your scheduled social media time. Even better, log out of the social media apps, we talked about this, entirely during work blocks so they can't notify you at all. Consider what Ed Sheeran did. He got so tired of feeling overwhelmed and sad by his phone constantly pulling at him that he completely got rid of his smartphone in 2015. Now that's extreme, but listen to his reasoning. He said after ditching the phone, it was like a veil just lifted. Suddenly he could live life uninterrupted. In an interview, he described how even if he tried to ignore his phone buzzing in his pocket during a conversation, part of his mind would fixate on like, who was that? What was that vibration? I'm kind of listening to you, but I'm also thinking about the phone. That is exactly what every notification does to you. It fractures your attention. So take a page from Ed. Remove the buzz. Even if you don't throw your phone in the ocean, you can turn it on silent. You can put it face down. You can leave it in another room when you need to focus. Out of sight, out of mind. Next, look at your digital environment. If you find yourself wasting time on certain apps or sites, use tech to fight tech. There are website blockers and apps like Freedom or Focus Me or even built-in screen time controls that can block access to specific sites during the hours that you choose. If Instagram is your culprit, you might do your business posting from a desktop browser where you don't get the addictive Explore feed. If YouTube sucks you in, consider a browser extension that hides the recommended videos. Yes, these things all exist. You can use them. It's like putting locks on the cookie jar if you're on a diet. Nothing wrong with structuring your environment to support your goals. And don't forget the physical environment. If you work from home, is the TV on in the background with news or Netflix? Turn it off. That's another distraction. Are there other easy buttons for procrastination around, like a gaming console right next to your workstation, right? Mute them, hide them, whatever it takes. Create a workspace that signals this is where I focus. Sometimes just a change in setting can help. So example, you could work from a library or co-working space where the atmosphere is everyone is concentrating. It's harder to slack off when those around you are dialed in. The goal here is to engineer your surroundings so that staying on task is the path of least resistance. When you do this, you rely far less on sheer willpower, which can fluctuate, and more on habit and structure. You're tying yourself to the mast, just like Odysseus. So even the siren songs, when they start playing, you simply can't steer towards it because you've set yourself up to prevent it. Number 5, prioritize deep work and real connections. Ultimately, overcoming social media distraction isn't just about what you avoid, it's about what you do instead. It's about making the meaningful work and connections so fulfilling that the shallow stuff loses its appeal. One concept I love is deep work, coined by author Newport, which is the act of focusing without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. This is where you produce your best work, you have your best ideas, and you truly move the needle in your business forward. When you schedule time for deep work, treat it as sacred. During those periods, protect them fiercely. No social media, no trivial emails, nothing that isn't related to the important project at hand that's in front of you. You might start with just 30 minutes of deep work a day and build up. But when you're in it, be in it, you'll find that not only do you get more done, you also get a sort of satisfaction that mindless scrolling can never compete with. The human brain actually enjoys focus. It's where we find states of flow and accomplishment. After a good session of creating or problem solving, checking social media will feel more like a cheap dessert. Maybe it's like tasty and sweet for a second, but not nearly as nourishing as a meal of deep work that you just had. And over time, you'll crave the focus more than the distraction. Also, lean into real-world connections and experiences. One reason we reflexively check social media, it's due to loneliness and boredom. We seek connection or a break. You can fulfill those needs in a far healthier way. Instead of chatting in a comment thread, call up a friend or a fellow entrepreneur, have a real conversation, right? Instead of watching a random video at a break, step outside and take a short walk, get some fresh air, let your mind wander a little bit. It's okay to be a little bit bored. These things rejuvenate you far more. Ed Sheeran mentioned that the best part of quitting the smartphone was the moments he has now, the uninterrupted with the people that he loves. That's the goal. Those real moments give life the richness. And guess what? When you're happier and more fulfilled offline, you're less likely to seek escape online. Finally, work on adopting the identity of a focused, disciplined entrepreneur. This is crucial. Tell yourself, I'm the kind of person who values my vision over short-term urges. I am a leader, not a follower. I run my business. I don't let distractions run me. When social media tempts you, this identity will kick in. No, that's not who I am. I don't scroll mindlessly when I have a mission to fulfill. This isn't just willpower, it's self-image, and we are all wired to act consistently with who we believe we are. So if you dropped the hashtag believe in the comments before, you know this community, Believe Nation, it's all about building belief. So start believing that you are indistractable, that you are focused, that you can handle the discomfort of not checking your phone for a few hours because you've got something more important cooking up right now. And here's the beauty. Each day that you follow these steps, each day that you stick to your schedule, that you get your deep work done, that you avoid all the nonsense, you reinforce that identity. You prove to yourself that you are in control. The distractions lose its power over you because you decide what matters. You decide. You'll start seeing results. Maybe in those extra hours of productive work, you design a better product, or you reach out to more clients, or you simply end your day feeling proud of yourself instead of feeling drained. And those results pour into the motivation to continue. So it becomes a virtuous cycle for you. Every time that you overcome a distraction, you strengthen your focus muscle. The fact that you're here right now watching this and you're working on yourself shows that you mean business. You're not just avoiding social media, you're becoming a person who values their purpose over pleasure. So keep applying these strategies and you'll do more, you'll feel better, and you'll lead better. You might feel like being an introvert is holding you back from communicating effectively. You worry that because you're quiet or reserved, you can't wow a crowd or express your ideas powerfully. But here's the truth. Being introverted does not mean that you can't be an outstanding communicator. In fact, it can be your secret weapon. One of our viewers, Shivam, asked, "Love your communication skills. Can you suggest some of the ways to improve communication skills for an introvert? Appreciate your help." And today I'm answering that question for Shivam and for you. Now, I get this on a personal level. Believe it or not, I am an introvert too. When I started my YouTube channel, I was shy, nervous, and afraid. I even thought an introvert couldn't win on YouTube. I was scared to speak on camera and worried that I'd let people down. It took me a long time to get comfortable in front of the camera. If you had told me years ago that I'd be here speaking, making this video for you, motivated entrepreneurs around the world, I wouldn't have believed it. But I did, and so can you. Here's the key. Introversion isn't a weakness, it's simply a personality trait, and it comes with its own strengths. So in this video, I'm going to break down how you, as an introvert, can improve your communication skills. We're going to shatter the myths that hold you back, tap into the natural advantages you might not even know you have, and lay out practical step-by-step strategies to help you communicate with confidence. By the end of this video, you'll have a game plan to turn your quiet nature into a powerful tool for speaking up, connecting with people, and sharing your ideas. Let's dive in. Part 1, shattering the myth of the extrovert communicator. First, let's crush one of the biggest myths out there, the idea that you have to be loud and outgoing and extrovert to be a great communicator or a successful entrepreneur. That's just not true. Our culture might be biased towards the talkative extroverts, but remember this. Introverts are responsible for some of humanity's greatest achievements. Think about that for a second. Being quiet or reserved has zero to do with how big your ideas are. As author Susan Cain noted, there's zero correlation between being the best talker and having the best ideas. In other words, you can be the quietest person in the room and still be the one with the most brilliant plan in your head. Let's name a few famous introverts who have made a mark on the world. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, J.K. Rowling, even Rosa Parks, all introverts. These people changed the world not by out-talking everyone, but by leveraging their introvert strengths, thinking deeply, innovative, and speaking up when it mattered. So if anyone ever told you, you're too quiet to lead or to communicate well, point them to those examples. In fact, more than half of the US workforce identifies as introverts. Yet 96% of leaders in business are reported to be extroverted. That doesn't mean introverts can't lead. It means introverts often get overlooked. It's a bias we're going to overcome right here, starting with you believing that your introversion is not a limitation. Embrace your introversion. The first step to improving your communication as an introvert is to embrace who you are. Don't label yourself as broken just because you're not the chattiest person in the room. Introversion simply means you draw energy from solitude and quiet, and you may prefer deeper conversations over small talk. That's okay. In fact, it can be a huge asset. Introverts tend to be excellent listeners and observers, which is hugely important in communication. In a survey of hundreds of introverts, the second most cited advantage of being introverted after creativity was the skill of listening. And guess what? In business, good listening is rare and valuable. A study found the number one complaint people had about professionals like consultants, advisors, bosses, is that they didn't listen to me. And 55% of people say they'd be much more likely to hire someone who listens better. So think about that. Being a good listener can literally set you apart and make people trust you more. So embrace it. If you're quiet, if you like to think before you speak, if you prefer one-on-one chats over shouting in a group, that can make you authentic and memorable. You're not the person who blabbers just to be heard. When you speak, it actually means something. It's quality over quantity. As entrepreneur Karen Merrick says, introverts naturally prefer smaller groups and one-on-one interaction. And this is an advantage because trust and rapport are built one conversation at a time. Your depth and thoughtfulness will be appreciated when you share it. Now let's leverage your introvert strengths in communication. All right, now that we've busted the myth and you're hopefully feeling proud to be an introvert, let's use some of those introvert powers to amp up your communication. Number one, the power of listening and observation. Communication isn't just about talking. Listening is just as important, if not more. Here's where you might already excel. Introverts often listen more than they speak. So use that. When you're in a conversation, focus deeply on what the other person is saying. Nod, make eye contact, and really absorb their words. This does two things. The first is it gives you richer information to respond to. And the second is that it makes the other person feel heard and valued. Dale Carnegie, author of the famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, famously said, "Show interest in others and others will show interest in you." As an introvert, you can naturally do this by asking questions and listening. In fact, asking questions is like a secret weapon for introverts. It takes the pressure off you to talk nonstop and encourages the other person to open up. Psychology experts note that asking open-ended questions and showing interest in others is one of the easiest ways for introverts to engage in conversations without feeling drained. So for example, you can start by asking things like this. How did you get into this line of work? Or what's something exciting that you're working on right now? Notice that these questions invite more than a just yes or no simple answer. They get the other person talking. When you ask a question, listen to the answer and maybe ask a follow-up. Suddenly, you're having a meaningful dialogue without having to force a fake extroverted persona. And the bonus, people will remember you as a great conversationalist, not because you talked about yourself, but because you made them feel heard. There's a classic proverb. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, to listen twice as much as we speak. So lean into that ratio. Your listening skills can help you avoid misunderstanding, resolve disagreements, and build genuine relationships. This is a huge strength. Number 2, thoughtfulness and preparation. Another introvert strength is you think before you speak. You likely take time to gather your thoughts. In a world where so many people just blurt out whatever comes to mind, your thoughtfulness is gold. Use it to your advantage by preparing and practicing what you want to communicate, especially in important situations. If you have a meeting, you have a pitch, a difficult conversation coming up, take a bit of time beforehand to prepare.
jot down the key points. If it's a work meeting, write out the main ideas that you want to contribute. If you find yourself blanking out when you're put on the spot, try this tip. Write down and practice saying your key points out loud beforehand. One communication coach advises introverts to do this, not to sound scripted, but to feel ready and confident to speak up when the moment comes. When you've practiced how to start your sentence, you won't feel as stuck or nervous at the beginning of speaking. You'll start strong, and once you get the ball rolling, the rest will flow much more naturally. Being thoughtful also means you prefer to reflect before giving an answer. That's perfectly okay. In fast-paced group discussions, this can be a challenge because it seems like everyone wants instant responses. So here's a pro technique for introverts. Buy yourself time when you need to think. If someone asks you a question and you're not ready to answer, it's completely fine to say a short phrase to give yourself a moment. For example, you could say something like, give me a second. I want to be sure I can explain this clearly, or let me take a moment to think about that. This little buffer alerts people that you're not ignoring the question, you're processing. According to communication experts, simply announcing that you need a second to think makes it socially acceptable to have a brief pause. Otherwise, in our extrovert-oriented society, silence can feel awkward, but you've cleared that up by stating what you're doing. Then gather your thoughts and continue. This technique is a lifesaver. It turns what could be an awkward pause into a moment of strength. It shows you care about your words. Even in meetings or group discussions, you can use this. Someone might rapid fire a question at you. Instead of panicking or blurting out something you're not confident about, calmly say, I have some thoughts on this. Just give me a moment to organize them. Most people will actually respect that. It shows thoughtfulness. In fact, introvert writers at Quiet Revolution suggest you could even say in a meeting, I'm hearing some good points. I have some thoughts brewing and would like to come back to it in a bit. That's a graceful way to ensure you contribute after you've had a chance to think, and it can lead to a way more insightful contribution than others who spoke without thinking. Lastly, if you're more comfortable expressing yourself in writing, leverage that when appropriate. For example, if you're in a work setting and didn't get to speak up in a meeting, you can follow up with an email with your ideas. There's nothing wrong with saying, I've been thinking about our discussion, and here are a couple of points I'd like to add. Some of the best communicators use writing as a part of their communication toolkit. So use that medium and play to your strengths. Many introverts find writing their thoughts first, then speaking, can boost their clarity and confidence. Number 3, deep one-on-one connections. Introverts usually shine in one-on-one or small group conversations. You might find it much easier to chat with one friend or a couple of people than speak in a crowd. Leverage that preference. Build your communication skills through intimate settings first. You don't have to start by giving a TED Talk to 1,000 people. Start with one person. Practice having more engaging one-on-one conversations. Focus on going deep rather than broad. Instead of feeling pressured to work a big room for a networking event, which will likely drain you, set a goal to have a meaningful conversation with just 1 or 2 people there. That's it. It's totally fine if you're not the social butterfly flitting between dozens of contacts. In fact, those 1 or 2 people will remember you more. As I said before, your inclination towards quality interactions can build real trust. So entrepreneurs and leaders often succeed through strong relationships, not just sheer volume of contacts. Now, if you're worried about what to say, fall back on the strengths that we just discussed. Ask questions and listen. People love to talk about themselves, so you actually don't need to talk a ton to be seen as a great communicator in one-on-one conversation. Aim to listen 70% of the time and talk 30% of the time, especially when you're just getting comfortable. Paradoxically, you'll get credit for being a good communicator because you make others feel heard. They will associate you with that positive feeling. One more thing. As an introvert, you might be more empathetic and observant of moods. Use that to connect. You might notice someone else standing alone at that networking event, not loving a crowd. Go chat with them. Chances are they'll appreciate it and you'll both feel more comfortable in the one-on-one you've just created. Communication is a two-way street. It's not about dominating, it's about connecting. And introverts are great at forging genuine connections. Practical strategies to level up your communication skills. Now let's get into some actionable strategies. This is the try this part. These are tactics and exercises that you can start doing right now, today, to improve your communication skills as an introvert. Motivational talk is great, but I want to have concrete steps for you too. So let's break it down. I'm going to give you some strategies. Strategy number 1, Practice in safe spaces. So like any skill, communication gets better as you practice. But you don't have to start on the biggest stage. Begin in a safe, low-pressure environment to build your confidence. So for example, this could be with close friends or family. Practice sharing more about your day or telling a story when you're at dinner or on a call with someone that you trust. Push yourself to speak a little bit more than usual. It's a friendly audience, so it's a good practice ground. Next, you can go online or in writing. If speaking face-to-face feels too daunting at first, too scary, engage in online forums or group chats where you can contribute to the discussion. Even participating in a Slack or Discord group about a topic that you like can help you formulate your thoughts and your voice in a comfortable way. Next, look at Toastmasters or speaking clubs. Consider joining a group like Toastmasters, which is specifically designed to help people practice public speaking in a supportive environment. Many introverts have found their voice in these clubs because everyone is there for the same reason, to get better at speaking. It's practice, not performance. Next, talk to the camera, even if it's just for you. So here's a trick. Record yourself. Use your phone, hit record, and talk on a topic for 1 to 2 minutes. No one else has to see it. This is just to get used to hearing your own voice and expressing your thoughts. You can play it back and see what you'd like to improve. Maybe you say a lot, or you speak very quietly. This self-feedback loop can be incredibly helpful. I did this early on and it helped me become a lot more comfortable on camera. The idea is exposure therapy, a little psychology here. The more you expose yourself to the act of communicating, especially in slightly uncomfortable situations, the more your comfort zone expands. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful introverted entrepreneurs, was terrified of public speaking early in his career. So terrified that he would get physically ill at the thought of it. So did you know what he did? He deliberately put himself in situations to practice. He took a $100 Dale Carnegie public speaking course, which he said was the best investment he ever made. And then he started teaching a class to keep practicing speaking in front of groups. It didn't happen overnight, but with each small step, speaking to a small class of students, then a bigger group, and so on, Buffett conquered his fear. He even told a class of business students that improving public speaking can raise your personal value by 50% instantly. Imagine that. He believes being a good communicator makes you 50% more valuable in the workplace. So take those small opportunities to practice because they add up. So here's your action step. Find one low-stakes opportunity this week to speak up or present. It could be volunteering to answer a question in a small group meeting, or giving a toast at a friend's small gathering, or even just introducing yourself to someone new. It will feel a bit uncomfortable, but remember, every time you do it, you're training yourself and that discomfort will shrink over time. Strategy number 2, equip yourself with conversation starters. One practical fear many introverts have is, I don't know what to say to start a conversation. The awkward silence or small talk can be agonizing. The solution is to prepare a toolbox of conversation starters and questions so you never get caught off guard. This is not about being fake. It's about having a fallback for when you need it. Some great open-ended conversation starters that aren't just dull small talk could be, working on anything exciting lately. This lets the other person share something they're enthusiastic about beyond just, so, the weather. What has been the highlight of your week so far? This usually gets people to think of a positive story to share. I read about something in the news or your industry. What are your thoughts on it? If relevant, this invites them to share their opinions on a topic, which can spark a deeper discussion. These examples actually come from Jennifer Grenneman, an introvert expert, as great questions for networking and conversations. The point is, by asking such questions, you shift the focus to the other person. You're playing to your listening strength and spark more meaningful conversations. Also, don't underestimate the power of compliment plus a question. For instance, if you notice something about the person that genuinely interests you, their unique laptop sticker, a book they're holding, or the way they handled a meeting, mention it. I noticed you have a sticker from whatever conference on your laptop. Did you attend that event? Or you made a great point in the meeting about customer feedback. How did you learn so much about that? This not only flatters them a bit, which makes people feel good, but it gives a natural segue into a subject. Having a few go-to topics in mind, like a recent tech trend if you're in tech, or a cool new business in town, or even a popular movie, can help you steer small talk into actual talk. The worst case, if you truly can't think of anything, ask about them. People's favorite subjects is usually themselves. So ask something like, how did you get into this line of work? Or what do you enjoy doing when you're not working? Simple, but it works. Strategy number 3, invest in your communication skills. If you want to seriously level up, consider treating communication like any other skill that you would study. This could mean reading books, taking courses, watching YouTube videos, or getting coaching on communication and public speaking. Great communicators are made, not born. Even extroverts have to learn and practice to be effective. It's just that introverts sometimes need to learn different techniques that suit their style. So here are some resources to consider. Books. Classics like How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That's for interpersonal skills. Or Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. That's by Susan Cain. To understand your introversion better and see it in a positive light. Susan Cain's own journey is inspiring, an introvert who gave one of the most viewed TED Talks ever. Also, books like Talk Like TED, that's by Carmen Gallo, or The Introvert's Edge by Matthew Pollard can provide tips specifically tailored to introverts. Now we can look at courses and workshops. There are Dale Carnegie courses. Yeah, they still exist for effective speaking and human relations. There are also online courses on platforms like Udemy, Coursera, focused on communication skills, often very affordable or free. If you prefer a live environment, local community colleges or organizations might have public speaking workshops. Next is coaches and Toastmasters. If you have the means, a speaking coach can provide personalized feedback. Or join a Toastmasters club, which is basically free coaching in a group setting. You'll get used to speaking regularly and get supportive feedback. Next, let's look at frameworks and exercises. So learn frameworks like storytelling structures. Example, the hero's journey for telling compelling stories, or the PAEA framework, point, example, analysis, action, to better structure your speaking points. Introverts often like structure. It gives us a roadmap when speaking. So for example, if you remember a simple framework like state my point, give an example or story, analyze or explain it, and then call to action or conclude, you can tackle even impromptu speaking by mentally plugging into that structure. Remember, improving communication is a form of personal development, so don't shy away from it. One study found that when introverts deliberately worked on communication and leadership skills, not only did their effectiveness improve, their confidence did too. And confidence is huge. As you get better, you'll feel better, which will make you better. A positive cycle. A quick inspirational note. If you think introverts can't become world-class speakers, think again. Susan Cain, who we just mentioned, is a self-professed introvert, and her TED Talk on the power of introverts has over 30 million views on YouTube. And Warren Buffett, who'd get so nervous he'd vomit before public speaking, forced himself to get training, and now says that improved communication skills not only boosted his career, but even gave him the courage to propose to his wife. He actually hangs his public speaking course certificate in his office as one of his proudest accomplishments. If they can do it, you can too. Strategy number 4, use body language and voice to your advantage. Communication isn't just what you say, it's how you say it. As an introvert, you might naturally be more low-key in body language. Maybe you don't use big gestures or loud volume. That's okay. You don't need to pretend to be super animated if that's not you. However, you should be aware of a few key nonverbal and paraverbal elements that can greatly improve how your message comes across. Let's start with posture and eye contact. So stand or sit up straight. It helps you breathe and project your voice better too. Make eye contact when listening and speaking. This shows confidence and engagement. If direct eye contact is hard, a trick is to look at the person's eyebrow or the bridge of their nose. It feels the same to them. Good posture and eye contact can make even a soft-spoken person appear confident and credible. Next, voice control. Many introverts speak softly or trail off when nervous. Practice speaking from your diaphragm, your belly area, to give your voice more strength. Before an important talk or meeting, do a couple of deep belly breaths. Research shows that slow, deep breathing can calm your nerves in stressful situations. When you're calmer, your voice will be steadier. Also, don't be afraid to pause when you speak. It can actually add impact. Introverts often naturally pause to think. Use those pauses deliberately to emphasize a point. It feels dramatic in a good way and gives listeners time to absorb your message. Next, smile and warmth. A gentle smile can go a long way to making you approachable. You don't have to grin ear to ear if that's not you, but a slight smile when you greet someone or at appropriate moments in conversation shows you're friendly and enjoying the interaction. Sometimes introverts deep in thought can look serious or unapproachable without realizing it. It's that good old resting face. Remember to lift those cheeks now and then. It will actually make you feel more positive due to feedback in the brain. Next is gestures. If you're not a big hand waver, don't worry, but do use some natural gestures to underscore key points. Maybe a simple head movement for emphasis. If you freeze up and keep your hands in your pockets, you might look more nervous. Try keeping an open posture, hands visible, and expressive in a natural way. You can practice in front of a mirror or video to see what looks normal for you.
Now, what if you're going into a situation where you need a confidence boost? Here's a quirky but effective tip. In private, do a power pose or some physical warm-up. For example, stand like Superman. So your hands are on your hips, your chest is out for a minute or two, and shake out your arms. Roll your shoulders. Some studies, well debated, suggest power posing can boost confidence feelings. At the very least, loosening up your body will release tension. Find what works for you to get your nerves under control before an important communication moment. Strategy number 5, leverage your alone time. This is your time to recharge and reflect. So as an introvert, you recharge when you're alone. After heavy social or communication sessions, you probably feel drained and need quiet time to recharge your batteries. Honor that. It's important to manage your energy so you can communicate effectively when it counts. So how do we do this? Plan recovery time. If you know you have a big meeting or social event, plan a little quiet time for yourself beforehand and afterwards. Even a 10-minute break to take a walk or sit in your car and decompress can help. In long meetings or networking events, it's okay to step out for a bathroom break or to get some air. Those few minutes of solitude can help you come back fresher. This is a trick I use often. Nobody notices if you slip away for a moment and you return far more composed. Remember the Psychology Today tip. It's perfectly fine to build short breaks into lengthy communications to catch your breath. Excuse yourself briefly if needed, get some water, splash your face, and come back recharged. Next, reflect and improve. Use some of your alone time to reflect on how your recent interactions went. This isn't to beat yourself up, but to gently analyze and find takeaways. Maybe after a meeting you think, I didn't speak up about my project update, or I'll make sure to mention it next time, or I jumped in when they discussed marketing, that felt great. Treat each conversation or meeting as a learning experience. As the motivational speaker Dennis Waitley said, failure should be our teacher, not our undertaker. If one interaction goes badly or awkwardly, don't see it as a disaster. See it as a lesson. Everyone has days off, even seasoned speakers. Learn from it and move on. Keep that growth mindset. Every day, you're getting better through practice. Next is use alone time for creativity. Realize that your best ideas might come during your quiet time, so use that. If you're preparing for a talk or trying to solve a communication problem, brainstorm in your solo time. Jot notes, mind map your ideas. Introverts often have wonderful creativity when given the space to think. That can translate into great stories or examples to use the next time you do speak. Many famous introverts like Einstein or Elon Musk have said that solitude was key for their innovation. Solitude is your strength. It's where you can recharge and prepare. By managing your energy, you prevent burnout and resentment towards communication. Instead of dreading the next conversation, you'll feel, okay, I have enough social battery for this and I'm ready. It's about balance. Mindset shifts for ongoing confidence. Improving your communication isn't just a one and done deal, it's an ongoing journey, and a lot of it is mental. So let's cover a couple of mindset shifts to cement that growth. Let's start with this. Don't compare yourself to extroverts. This is huge. You might look at a colleague or another entrepreneur who's super outgoing, who can work a crowd like a rock star, and you feel inferior. Stop that. You have your own style. An extrovert's strength might be thinking on their feet and being animated, while your strength is thoughtful analysis and calm delivery. Each has its place. In fact, studies show introvert leaders can outperform extrovert leaders when managing proactive teams because introverts listen and support other ideas rather than trying to dominate. So your style can excel in the right context. Don't wish to be someone you're not. Instead, work on becoming the best version of you as a communicator. Next, reframe nervousness as excitement. I don't like to use this, but it is a trick that performers use. That flutter in your stomach before speaking, you can interpret it as fear or excitement. So physically, they're the exact same feelings, right? Your palms are sweaty, your heart is racing. So the next time you feel nervous before speaking or meeting new people, you can tell yourself, I'm excited to share. I'm excited to meet these people instead of I'm scared. It sounds cheesy, but it can work. Psychological research backs this up. Reinterpreting anxiety as excitement can improve performance. It puts you in a positive mindset rather than a defensive one. Now, I said that I didn't use it. I didn't like it because I don't like little hacks or tricks that make me feel worse about myself. And instead, I lean into that I do difficult things. I love the idea that this is some new challenge, that this is difficult. It's something I'm not used to. And I want to build the mindset, the identity around me doing difficult things.
Next, use your one word or your core value. So in line with my own philosophy from my book, Your One Word, it helps to have a core value or mantra to ground you. Mine, as you know, is believe. When I feel doubt or fear creeping in, I remind myself to believe in my message, to believe in my mission, and the value that I want to bring. Maybe for you, that word is courage or connect or serve. Choose a word or phrase that empowers you. So for example, before you walk into a room, you might say to yourself, connect deeply, or be courageous, or simply, I've got this. This little mental device can push aside the self-critical thoughts and focus on a more positive intent. Next, remember your why. As an entrepreneur or creator, why do you need to communicate better? Probably because you have something important to share. You've got a business idea. You've got a product that can help people, knowledge that can inspire others. Focus on that purpose. When you shift attention to the message and the people who need to hear it rather than yourself, your fear often reduces. It's not about performing, it's about serving. And that mindset has helped me tremendously. I used to be so worried about how I looked or sounded on camera. And when I switched to thinking, if I don't share this advice, someone out there who needs it might miss out, I found my courage. As Simon Sinek would advise, start with why. Know why you're speaking up and let that passion drive you through the discomfort. Finally, let's celebrate some small wins. Acknowledge your progress. Every time you push your comfort zone, give yourself credit. Did you speak up in the meeting today when you usually stay quiet? Awesome, that's a win. Did you manage to introduce yourself to 2 new people at that event? Hey, high five. Track these small victories. Maybe even journal them. It's encouraging to see how far you've come over time. And if something didn't go well, hey, you tried. And that itself is a win because you're further along than if you stayed silent. Keep it up one step at a time. Turn your quiet into your strength. Let's wrap it up with a dose of motivation. Introvert to introvert, I'm telling you, you have everything it takes to be an effective communicator. You don't need to change your personality. You just need to unlock the tools and confidence that are already inside you. Being introverted is your advantage. It made you thoughtful. It made you a listener. It gave you depth. Now you're going to leverage those qualities to communicate on your terms. Remember the examples we talked about, from Bill Gates to J.K. Rowling to Rosa Parks. Quiet people who made a loud impact. This is your potential. The world needs communicators like you, people who speak with intention, who listen with empathy, who connect deeply. Not everyone needs to be a flashy speechmaker. Sometimes the most powerful voice in the room is the calm, collected one that everyone stops to hear because they know it's genuine. So the next time you catch yourself saying, I'm an introvert, I can't do this, flip the script. Say, I'm an introvert, I've got this. I just communicate differently, and that's my edge. Use the strategies that we went through today. Embrace your introversion and believe in your ideas. Leverage your listening skills and let others feel heard. Prepare and practice. Turn your thoughtfulness into clear words. Start small and build up. Each conversation is a step forward. Educate yourself. Read, learn, watch videos, get inspired by other introverts. Manage your energy. Recharge when you need to. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And shift your mindset. You're not silent, you're strategic with your voice. And above all, take action. Communication is a skill, which means it improves as you practice. Your comfort zone will expand each time you stretch it. There will be tough moments, sure. I still get butterflies before I go on stage or even hitting record on videos. But now I know these butterflies means that I care, and I channel that into delivering with passion. You asked for ways to improve your communication skills as an introvert. Now you have a treasure trove. The only thing left is to do. Try these tips. Try one tip today, another tomorrow. Little by little, you'll notice a change. And one day you'll look back and realize you're handling conversations and presentations that used to scare you, and you might even enjoy them. I started my journey as a quiet, nervous guy who was afraid to speak up. If I told that Evan that he'd help millions of people in his YouTube community one day, he'd have thought you were crazy. Yet here we are, because I learned to turn my introversion from an excuse into a superpower. And if I can do it, I know you can too. I believe in you. Now it's time for you to believe in yourself. So go there and share your voice with the world in your own introverted, powerful way. Let your actions scream louder than your words ever could. And when you do speak, speak with conviction. Keep me posted in the progress with your comments. And if Shivam or any of you have more questions, I'm here to help. It's your turn. Speak up, shine in your quiet way, and never forget to believe. You want to be a successful entrepreneur, but are you winning your mornings? Every day you get a choice. Either you run the morning or the morning runs you. Jim Rohn said it best. Either you run the day or the day runs you. A powerful morning routine can be a difference between a focused, productive day and a chaotic one. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the only morning routine you will ever need.
a routine so effective that it demands excellence from the moment you wake up. Why your morning routine matters. So as an entrepreneur, how you start your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. Research shows that your willpower and ability to get things done are highest shortly after you wake up. That means your morning hours are golden, a time when you're at your sharpest before fatigue and distraction set in. Successful people know this. In fact, many top CEOs and leaders are early risers. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is up at 3:30 a.m., Apple's Tim Cook is 3:45 a.m., and others like Oprah Winfrey wake up before sunrise. They're not crazy. They discovered that a structured start can catapult their productivity and their success. But here's the good news. You don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. if that's not right for you. What matters is having a routine and owning your morning. Robin Sharma famously said, "Own your morning, elevate your life." Whether your day starts at 5 a.m. or 8 a.m., a consistent morning routine will give you clarity and control. On the other hand, if you start your day and you're scrambling, you're oversleeping, you're rushing out the door with your mind in a fog, you're essentially letting the day control you. So let's flip that narrative. It's time for you to take charge. Rise with purpose, don't hit snooze. The first step is waking up on purpose, not by accident. When your alarm goes off, avoid hitting the snooze button. It's tempting, but those extra 10 minutes can actually hurt you. Sleep experts warn that dozing off again only starts a new sleep cycle that gets interrupted, leaving you more tired and groggy. So when you wake up, get up. Decide that you run this morning. One trick to help: put your alarm or phone across the room so you have to physically get out of the bed to turn it off. And another trick, give yourself something to look forward to when you wake up, whether it's a fresh cup of coffee, a morning playlist that you love, or the thought of working on a project that you are excited about. Also, consistency is key. Try to wake up at the same time each day. This trains your body's clock. Make sure you're getting enough sleep too. About 8 hours is ideal. If you're naturally a night owl, don't worry. The goal is not to force you into a 5 a.m. wake up if that doesn't suit you. Studies show you'll be most productive at whatever time aligns with your internal body clock. The important part is not the exact time on the clock, but that once you're up, you follow an empowering routine. Now, as soon as you're out of bed, make your bed. Yes, this small act can matter. It gives you an immediate win and a sense of accomplishment. It's not about making the bed, it's about proving to yourself that you're the kind of person who follows through. As Admiral William McRaven said, if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. It sounds simple, but you're signaling to yourself that you're organized and ready for the day. Little wins build momentum. Hydrate and energize. So before you reach for your phone or anything else, drink a glass of water. Your body has been fasting and losing water overnight, so you wake up dehydrated. Hydrating first thing helps wake up your organs and your brain. In fact, drinking water on an empty stomach in the morning can kickstart your metabolism by up to 25%, giving you an energy boost without any calories. Think of it as fueling your system's engine. So here's an action tip. Keep a glass or bottle of water by your bedside or in the kitchen that's ready to go. Drink it within the first 5 to 10 minutes of being up. You'll likely feel more alert almost instantly. Some people add lemon for a taste or a bit of vitamin C, but plain water does the job just fine. I'll take mine with a little bit of sea salt and some vitamin D drops as well. Take this moment to also freshen up. Wash your face, brush your teeth. The cool water on your face will further signal your body it's go time. You're literally washing off the grogginess. So by now, you've resisted snooze, you've made your bed, and you've hydrated. 3 quick wins already. Next, sing. Boost your mood with music. Now it's time to get your mind and mood into a positive state. The first S in this routine is sing. But don't worry, you don't have to actually sing unless you want to. The step is about using music to energize and uplift you. So I call this step sing because the fastest way to change your state is to put on music. Think about it. Have you ever heard your favorite song come on and suddenly now you're smiling or you're tapping your feet? That's the power that we want to tap into every morning. So choose a song or a playlist that pumps you up and makes you feel positive. It could be an upbeat song that makes you want to dance or an inspiring song that reminds you of why you do what you do. Play it while you're getting dressed or moving around. Music literally improves your brain chemistry. It triggers the release of dopamine, which is a feel-good chemical that boosts your mood and reduces your stress. So starting your day with a dose of positivity will help you feel more motivated and ready to tackle challenges. So go ahead, put on that song that makes you feel like you can conquer the world. Sing along if you want to. No one's judging you in your morning routine. This is your time to set a positive tone. By the end of the song, you'll notice you feel happier, more awake, and more mentally tuned into a good vibe. Now, if music isn't your thing first thing in the morning, you can alternatively do something else that lifts your mood. Maybe read an inspiring quote or do a quick 5-minute meditation. The key is to feed your mind something positive before the world's noise creeps in. Sun. Get some morning sunlight. So the second S is sun, as in get some sunshine and fresh air. This step is all about waking up your body naturally and harnessing some science-backed benefits. Step outside for a few minutes or at least open your curtains wide. Sunlight in the morning is incredibly powerful. It sends a signal to your brain that it's daytime. Let's get going. Exposure to bright morning light also helps reset your circadian rhythm. That's your body's internal clock, which improves your energy in the morning and your sleep at night. It basically tells your body when it's time to be alert and when it's time to wind down. One study found that office workers who got more morning light fell asleep faster and slept better than those who didn't. Morning sunlight also triggers your body to naturally increase certain hormones that wake you up and boost your alertness. Just as importantly, sunlight boosts your mood. People who get more sunshine during the day tend to have lower rates of depression and anxiety. So think of how a gloomy day can make you feel a bit low, while a bright morning can make you feel cheerful. That's real. Sunlight helps your brain produce serotonin, which is another happy hormone. It's like nature's antidepressant and focus enhancer rolled into one, and it's free. On most mornings, I do a 60-minute walk around my neighborhood outside as quickly as I can so I can get some of those benefits and feel-good hormones right in the morning. So here's an action tip for you. Take 5 to 10 minutes to step outside each morning. Stand on your porch, your balcony, walk your dog, go around the block, not just in front of a window, actually outside. Breathe in fresh air. If the weather's bad or the winter is still dark, at least sit by the window or use a bright lamp, but every little bit helps. But try to get outside. Feel that cool air and light wake up your senses. It also gives you a quiet moment to just be present. No screens, no emails, no outside distractions, just you and your new day. Soar. Do what makes you feel alive. Now for the third S, soar. This is one of my favorites. So soar means you're doing the thing that makes you feel alive, bold, confident each morning. In other words, do something that feeds your soul or advances your big goals so you start the day inspired. So think about what activity gives you a sense of purpose or joy. It could be working on a passion project, reading something uplifting, watching a YouTube video on this channel, practicing gratitude, visualizing your goals. For you, SOAR might mean spending 10 minutes journaling about your goals or things you're grateful for. It could mean reading a couple pages from a personal development book or a biography of someone who inspires you. It might mean visualization or prayers or affirmations, anything that connects you with your why and makes your spirit soar. The key is that it's personal and meaningful to you. This isn't about checking emails yet and doing busy work. It's about feeding your mindset. What I will do is that on my walk, I'll always have a YouTube video playing from my channel, another channel I look up to and respect, and it's feeding my brain with entrepreneurs who've done amazing things, which makes me want to go home and do something amazing too. And now consider this. Steve Jobs used to start each day by looking in the mirror and asking, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? And if too many days in a row the answer was no, he knew something needed to change. You can use a question like that to remind yourself of the thing that matters most to you. Morning is a perfect time to reconnect with your mission. Also remember that scientific finding, our mental energy and our willpower are highest in the morning. So this is a prime time to do important work on your number one goal before the world distracts you. Maybe you're building a business. Spend a few morning minutes brainstorming a new idea or writing your business plan. If you have a book that you want to write, use this time to write a page. Even small progression on a passion project will make you feel accomplished and excited. So by doing something that makes you feel like you're soaring, you leave the house or start the workday with a sense of purpose and confidence. You'll be thinking, yes, I've already invested in myself and my dream today. And that positive momentum can carry you through the day's challenges. Here's something to think about that's important. During this SOAR time, avoid consuming other people's agenda. So that means don't get on social media, don't check your email yet. Those can pull you back into reaction mode. So we want to protect this time for you and your growth. You want to create before you consume. Sweat. Exercise your body. Time for the fourth S, Sweat. This means get your body moving and do something active to literally work up a sweat. Now, don't worry, you don't have to run a marathon every morning or hit the gym for an hour unless you want to. Even 10 to 20 minutes of exercise, outside ideally, can have a huge effect on your day. The goal is to get your blood pumping, to wake up your muscles, to flood your body with all of those healthy hormones that exercise provides. Exercising in the morning boosts your energy and has well-known benefits for your mood and your brain. When you work out, your body releases endorphins. These are often the feel-good chemicals that reduce stress and make you feel happier. So, have you ever noticed how you're in a better mood after a workout? That's why. Breaking a sweat also helps clear your mind. You'll start the day rejuvenated and with a sense of accomplishment. There's even science showing that morning exercise can boost your brain power. One study found that 30 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise in the morning improved people's decision-making and executive function for the rest of the day. In other words, a brisk walk, a jog, or an at-home workout can make you mentally sharper when you sit down to work. You're not just training your body, you're priming your brain for peak performance. And you can stack those things together, right? The last two we talked about were getting some sun, doing something that makes you soar, and getting some sweat. If you went for a jog or a brisk walk like I do every morning for 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, you're getting sun outside. Put something on in your ears, listen to one of these videos, you're getting some soar time there, and you're also sweating by doing a mild workout. So here's an action tip. Choose an activity that you enjoy, or at least you don't hate, and that fits your fitness level. And that could be a quick run around your neighborhood, it could be some bodyweight exercises in your living room, it could be yoga, it could be stretching, it could be dancing to a few songs, or it could be a heavy lift. The important part is to get moving. For example, you might do 20 jumping jacks, 10 push-ups, and 10 squats, and repeat that circuit 3 times. Boom, you've got a morning workout in under 15 minutes. If you have more time, great, do a full workout. If not, even 5 minutes of stretching or a short work outside with sunlight to get your coffee can help. Remember, consistency over intensity. It's better to do a small workout every morning than a huge workout once a month. By making this a habit, you'll notice over weeks and months that you have more energy and you get sick less often. Exercise also builds discipline. When you prove to yourself every day that you can show up and do something hard, you strengthen that discipline muscle in your mind. Plus, as an entrepreneur, your health is an asset. Taking care of your body means you can sustain the long hours and stress that sometimes come with building a business. Scare. Step out of your comfort zone. Okay, what have we done so far? We've energized the body, we've energized our mind. Now it's time for the 5th S, scare. And this one is a bit different and definitely exciting. Scare means doing one thing every morning that slightly scares or challenges you. Now, why on earth would we do this? Because doing something hard first thing in the morning teaches you courage and builds unstoppable confidence. If you conquer a fear or discomfort at the start of your day, everything else will feel easier by comparison. For example, you could be taking a cold shower right after your workout. Now, a cold shower might sound crazy if you've never tried it, and yes, it is uncomfortable for a minute or two, but it wakes you up like nothing else. More importantly, it trains you to step out of your comfort zone. After a freezing shower, making tough business calls or tackling a tricky problem can feel like a breeze. You've proven to yourself that you can do things that aren't easy. Cold exposure also has some really cool health benefits too. Research shows that cold water immersion can increase your endorphins. Those are also some feel-good chemicals, and your neuroepinephrine, which boosts your alertness, while it also reduces your stress hormones like cortisol. In short, a cold blast can actually improve your mood and make you more resilient to stress. So it's not just mental toughness here that you're training, you're also helping your body adapt and get stronger. Now, your scare doesn't have to be a cold shower, though I challenge you to do it at least once and see. It could be anything that pushes your limits a little bit. So maybe you're scared of public speaking. So your morning scare could be practicing a speech in front of the mirror for 5 minutes or making a quick YouTube video. Or maybe you fear rejection. So your morning challenge could be sending that bold email or making a phone call about an opportunity that you've been nervous about. Doing it first thing when you're fresh means you won't procrastinate about it all day. It could even be as simple as ending your warm shower with 30 seconds of cold water if you're easing into it. The idea is to prove to yourself each day that you can do the uncomfortable thing. Like Mark Twain said, eat a live frog first thing in the morning and nothing worse will happen to you the rest of the day. Don't worry, no actual frogs for breakfast here. The frog is that hard task or scary thing you might otherwise avoid. If you do it early, you won't spend the whole day dreading it. You'll feel braver and freer. So imagine this, by 7 or 8 a.m., you've already crushed a fear. You've taken that cold shower or had that tough conversation with yourself, or you've done a hard task. You walk into the rest of your day with a sort of superhero mentality, right? What else you got for me today? I've already done something scary here and I'm feeling great. That confidence is an entrepreneur's best friend. Putting it all together, your ultimate morning routine. Okay, so let's see how all of this flows together in a typical morning, step by step. So this is the 5S morning routine, the only routine you'll need to ignite your day. So we start by waking up, no snooze. Get up with your alarm, no excuses. Make your bed for a quick win and drink a glass of water to hydrate your body and kickstart your energy. Remember, no snoozing. You're training yourself to attack the day from the get-go. Next, we're going to sing. This is a mood boost with music. So we play an uplifting song or playlist. Use music to put yourself in a positive, powerful state. Sing along or dance a bit if you feel like it. This is science-backed. Music boosts dopamine and cuts your stress. So you're literally improving your brain chemistry for a happier day. Next, get some sun, get light, get some air. Step outside into the morning light or open those curtains, but ideally outside. Take a few deep breaths of fresh air. Let the natural light signal to your body it's time to wake up. This will regulate your internal clock and help you sleep better later while lifting your mood right now. Next is Soar, inspire your mind. Spend a few minutes on something that inspires you or fulfills you. Journal your goals, read an inspiring passage, say a prayer or affirmation, visualize your success, make progress on a passion project, watch a YouTube video that inspires you, right? Feed your soul before you feed your to-do list. You're using your peak mental energy on something that matters most to you. Next is sweat, exercise. Get moving and raise your heart rate. Do a workout, stretching, yoga, anything to get the blood flowing. Even a quick 10-minute routine counts. Break a sweat if you can, right? That's why it's called sweat. This releases endorphins for a mood boost and primes your brain for productivity. Next is scare. Challenge yourself. Do one thing that challenges you. Take the cold shower we talked about, or tackle the tough task head on. Step out of your comfort zone, even briefly. You'll gain confidence and train yourself to be comfortable being uncomfortable, which is going to be a key to your growth. And that's it, 6 steps if we include that initial wake-up process, hydration and all. And then the 5 S's, sing, sun, soar, sweat, scare. This routine might take you 60 to 90 minutes. In total, if you do everything fully, for example, 20 minutes reading, 20 minutes exercise, etc. But you can adjust the timing to fit your life. Even a condensed 30-minute version can work wonders if you hit each category briefly. The order here is a logical flow. It's mindset to light to inspiration, exercise, challenge. But you can tweak the order if you want to too. For example, some people might exercise first and then do the inspirational stuff. That's okay too. The important part is building a sequence that consistently hits these key areas: mental positivity, physical activation, purpose, and growth. Make it a habit. Now, doing this routine once is great, but the real power comes when you make it a habit. So try committing to this morning for the next 10 days and see how you feel. In the beginning, it might feel like a lot, especially if you're not used to structured mornings. But stick with it. Habits take time to form. Remember, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. It's a famous quote often attributed to Aristotle. Each day that you follow through with your routine, you're reinforcing the identity of a focused, proactive person. So here are a few tips that you can use to help lock in the habit. Prepare the night before. Lay out your workout clothes, set a water bottle by your bed, decide what song or playlist you're going to play, or what book you're going to read in the morning, what video you're going to watch. This makes it easier to dive in without friction. And as the saying goes, success is when preparation meets opportunity. In this case, the morning is the opportunity and your prep is the success hack. Next, start small if needed. If 5 steps feels overwhelming at first, start with 2 or 3 and then gradually add on. Maybe for the first week, you focus on waking up, no snoozing, then add music and water. And then you add sunlight and then a short exercise the next week and so on. Any positive routine is better than none, and you can build upon to the full program. Next is be flexible but consistent. So life happens. And some days you might have an early meeting or kids to attend to. If you're short on time, you can shrink each step. So maybe 1 minute of music, 5 push-ups, a quick cold rinse, instead of skipping it entirely. The key is doing something for each part every day so the habit stays alive. Consistency is more important than perfection. Next is track your progress. Consider using a habit tracker or just a calendar to check off each day you complete the routine. Seeing a streak can be very motivating. You won't want to break it once you have a bunch of days in a row. Over time, you'll likely find that this routine becomes second nature. It won't feel like a checklist anymore. It will feel like your normal way of starting the day. And when that happens, oh boy, get ready for compounding benefits. Your energy will increase, your stress management will improve, and you'll notice that you are getting more done towards your goals. Others might start asking, wow, what's your secret? Why are you so full of energy in the morning? Start tomorrow strong. The beauty of this routine is that it's simple and it covers all the bases. It covers your mind, your body, and your spirit. By the time you finish your morning routine, you've basically said to yourself, my well-being and goals matter. You've taken care of your physical health with water and the sun and exercise, your mental health with positive music and personal inspiration, and your personal growth by facing the fear and working on the passion. Most people let mornings just happen to them, but not you. You're designing your morning now for success. So imagine the compound effect of doing this every day. Today, you'll feel great. Do it tomorrow and the next day, and soon you'll have more focus, less stress, and an unshakable confidence. Those days turn into weeks of productivity, which turn into months of progress on your business and personal goals. This is how winning streaks are built, one morning at a time. And don't just take my word for it. Think of the entrepreneurs that you admire. If you look deep into their routines, almost all of them have a morning ritual that centers them. It might not be exactly 5 S's, but it likely touches on similar elements. Success leaves clues, and a solid morning routine is a big one. So now that you have a blueprint that incorporates many of those best practices into one, this truly could be the only morning routine you ever need because you can adapt it as you grow. As your interests change, your Soar activity might change, or your exercise routine might evolve, but the framework still works. So here is my challenge to you. Try this for the next 10 days. Even better, start tomorrow morning. No, actually, start tonight by setting up what you need for the morning. Then when your alarm rings, remember this video and the commitment you made to yourself. Push through that initial discomfort of getting up and just do it. You'll thank yourself by noon, I promise. End your morning routine by stepping into your workday or whatever comes next with a winning mindset. You've now primed yourself for success. Now go make things happen. And if you ever feel that your motivation is dipping, remember that feeling you had after a great morning and know that you can create that feeling again any day by following these steps. Finally, always remember why you're doing this. You have dreams to chase. You have people to help. You have a vision to build. This morning routine is a foundation that will support all of that. It's not just about having a nice breakfast or a bit of exercise. It's about becoming the person who can achieve the goals that you've set. So every morning is a new opportunity to become a better, stronger version of you. You have the power to craft your mornings that fuel your success. So will you seize that power? The routine is here for you. Now it's up for you to implement it and make it your own. And as you do, you'll find that not only do your days get better, but you get better. And that's the real magic of a morning routine. It transforms you one day at a time. So go make your mornings count. Your future self, the successful entrepreneur, living your dream, is rooting for you to start each day right. Own your morning and you'll own your day and eventually your life. Stay motivated, keep improving, and as always, never stop believing in yourself and your vision. Believe.
And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. To learn the habits that will make this year your best year yet, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
If you want to experience a level of wealth and fulfillment you've never had before, you must do things that you have never done. Most people want the results of the top 1%, but they are unwilling to adopt the habits and discipline